under the Regional Fund for Agriculture and Food, which was established as far back as 2011.
Mr. Speaker, that fund is yet to be operationalized. 11 years after it was established. We are now putting structures in place
to, as it were, even receive donations or contributions from member states, so we can in turn give to our farmers from our member states for them to be able to benefit and apply them in their various agricultural activities. Mr. Speaker, I think this is a very important matter that should engage the attention of this House. We cannot adopt such a lethargic approach to institutionalizing entities such as this. We established a fund 11 years ago, and we are unable to operationalize it. It means that as ECOWAS, we don't appear to be addressing the issues affecting our agri sector seriously. And as a House, we need to take note. Mr. Speaker, under the same report, again, the Commissioner reported that under the resilience of food systems, food and nutrition security, the ECOWAS Regional Storage Strategy, which was adopted as far back as 2015, is also yet to be operationalized. And it is a problem. If our food storage strategy adopted 2015, about 7 years ago, we are yet to operationalize it. It means we are paying lip service to a lot of the institutional reforms we seek to introduce at the ECOWAS parastatal level. Mr. Speaker, the last point I want to touch on under that contribution is about the uniformity or synchronization of the use of water resources within the ECOWAS sub-region. Mr. Speaker, as I speak to you or address the House on this matter, the Bagri Dam has been opened, and it's had a devastating effect on our farmers, particularly downstream of the dam. The net effect, Mr. Speaker, is that for the first time in 14 years, the Volta Lake is at its brink, and the VRA has just put out a notice that within the next 11 days, they will be spilling both excess water from the Kosombo Dam and the Kong Dam. Mr. Speaker, what this means is that when the spillage occurs, persons downstream of these two dams we may have to marshal up some emergency preparedness so that those who will be affected by the spillage can be attended to. Mr. Speaker, finally, the forum also received some information from the West African Bar Association, which is a group of lawyers within West Africa. And Mr. Speaker, as part of the issues that they touched on are clearly matters bordering on human rights and abuse of human rights. And why it's important that as a grouping, as ECOWAS as an entity, we need to pay attention to some of these developments. And Mr. Speaker, let me assume my seat by quoting what the West African Bar Association said on this matter. Mr. Speaker, they said at page 23, they said that in West Africa, owing to various military insurgents, WABA has underlined some protocol and democracy and good governance structures and provides for an accountability framework for the governance of its structures. It aims to ensure free, fair, and credible elections as the basis for legitimate government. However, their further observation is that the re-emergence of military coups in West Africa is a threat to the sustainability of our democratic credentials as a people within the sub-region. And the various national assemblies are being called upon to pay attention to address some of the fundamental reasons why there is this new emergence of the military dictatorship within West Africa. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I thank you for the opportunity.
Well. Yeah, Eric Opoku. At this time, you will speak.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the
Honourable members, please.
From our colleagues representing us in the ECOWAS Parliament. Mr. Speaker, point 8.4, page 17. The report talks about agricultural productivity and competitiveness. But Mr. Speaker, the name of the commissioner is not Mr. Sekou Sangri. The name is Mr. Sekou Sangari. So if the chairman can look at it and then do the correction, it's Sekou Sangari. Sekou Sangari is the ECOWAS commissioner.
Honourable Deputy Leader, please listen to his comment. I'm drawing your attention to his comment that he's making.
And so, delegation who is reporting to us, if you look at the name, it's not Sangri, it's Sangari. He is the commissioner in charge of agriculture. And Mr. Speaker, I recall that in 2018 we needed support from ECOWAS. Sekou Sangari was the one who came down here to offer us the assistance that we needed at the time. Because most importantly, I'm interested in the effort being made by ECOWAS to ensure that we have enough supply of fertilizer across the region as part of the measures to increase food production and to ensure food security in the South region. It is very, very important. And then also, they also talk about the project to increase rice production in the South region. Just because this is very, very important. And they are looking at how we can link efforts, how we can come together, strategize as a region to increase rice production in the ECOWAS countries. Mr. Speaker, we spend so much to import rice to supplement local production. And so it is in the right direction. ECOWAS come together to join hands in ensuring that we produce enough rice to feed our people and even export to make some foreign earnings. But Mr. Speaker, there is very, very important points which have been made at page 33, which policymakers in our country must take note of and prepare accordingly. Mr. Speaker, page 33 states that some countries within the ECOWAS region have experienced low harvest in terms of their agricultural production. And as a result of this, they have written to the ECOWAS strategic stores for support. So as you speak, ECOWAS is reporting to us that they have depleted all their reserves, that they don't have food available now to support any country in need, because most of our countries suffered this situation because of the dry season, long dry seasons, because of the climate change, because of insecurities. They don't have food and they have to fall on ECOWAS strategic stores. And so they are telling us that as we speak, they don't have food kept anywhere to support any other country that may be in need. This is very important information for Ghana. As we prepare, we must know that should in case of any difficulties, ECOWAS will not be able to come to our aid, and therefore we should be preparing now. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, we know that we don't have a single grain of cereals, stored anywhere in the country for us to depend on in terms of emergencies. And so if ECOWAS is giving us indication that they have depleted their resources, then we must know how to prepare accordingly. And then in addition to that, Mr. Speaker, the President intimated that with the world food crisis and the Ukraine-Russia situation, some countries do not want to export. This is what the President is telling us, that apart from the fact that ECOWAS have depleted their food reserves, even in the international scene, some countries are not willing to export because of the Russia-Ukraine situation. The Commission is therefore working with other partners through existing mechanisms to be able to address this emergency situation. So there is no hope from the world that we are going to get food should we have emergency. In the region, ECOWAS, no food anywhere. So Ghana as a country must prepare against emergencies. My worry is that as a country, we have not put in place enough mechanisms. We don't have buffers. So in case of any emergency, the whole country will suffer. So once this has come to the attention of the House, the policymakers, Ministry of Agriculture, the government must take notice, serious notice of this and prepare accordingly. Because in 2018, we had a challenge. In spite of planting for food and all the things that we said, and ECOWAS bailed us out. Today, ECOWAS is telling us that they don't have anything to support any other country. And they are also saying that countries who have do not want to export because they don't know when the Ukraine-Russia war is going to end. This means that we should domesticate our plans and prepare here. Mr. Speaker, this is very, very important because if anything happens and there's no food, you shouldn't say that we didn't tell you. You reported to us and we are commenting on it. It's very, very important. Don't tell me to stop. It's important. Then also, Mr. Speaker, on page 35, page 35, they are also talking about insecurity in the sub-region. And Mr. Speaker, the most important thing for all of us to do is to look at what the triggers of insecurity in the sub-region are. What are the triggers? Poverty levels, high inequalities, corruption, and other issues that deprive the citizenry of their basic necessities. Mr. Speaker, if you create an atmosphere where the chunk of the resources meant for the good of the entire citizenry is given to few people, is found with just few, you widen the inequality, you create an atmosphere of insecurity. And therefore, in order to address the challenge of insecurity, we have to come together, implement proper policies, and ensure that the gap between the rich and the poor is closed so that every citizen on our continent can have a life. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
Okay, let me give the last slot to you.
I'm most grateful, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the motion. I commend the leader of the delegation for the presentation of the ECOWAS report. Mr. Speaker, I note from page 4 of the report that the delegation is particularly concerned about the deteriorating democratic situation in the sub-region and has pointed to a very, very important mechanism to address the deterioration. That is what it describes as a more proactive approach in handling the democratic deterioration. Mr. Speaker, this point has been made very eloquently by my colleague who just spoke, the Honorable Eric Opoku. The proactive measures that will prevent the democratic deterioration, the instability that is rearing its ugly head again. We have seen a return to the era of coups when we thought that coups were matters of the past. We've seen what happened in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Guinea, and then Burkina Faso again, only a few weeks ago. These proactive measures, Mr. Speaker, will definitely be the need for ECOWAS leaders to hold their peers accountable to the dictates of good governance, to ensure that economic opportunities are created for their country, to ensure, Mr. Speaker, that the matters to do with corruption, with lack of inclusivity, and this abuse of the democratic process where term limits are taken away and leaders want to perpetuate themselves in office. We all know the precipitating factors, and the challenge has been that it appears that ECOWAS leaders are quite silent when these matters are unfolding, when these very negative tendencies are being rolled out by these despots. We only hear ECOWAS leaders impose sanctions when the die is cast, when the horses have bolted, and when these coups have happened, and the sanctions clearly are not working. We see the tough times that Ibn Chambers is having we see, Mr.
Members, please, let's listen to the contribution. Yes, Honorable Member, let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, I was making the point about how when these coups have occurred, we see that the transitional arrangements are not even followed. And going through the report, you read that our own Ibn Chambers is having a tough time trying to get the military junta in Guinea to follow the ECOWAS transitional timetable. We see Goodluck Jonathan also facing the same challenge. I mean, Mr. Speaker, the point cannot be overemphasized that a new model, is needed, where ECOWAS leaders will need to persuade their colleagues to just follow the dictates of good governance to make sure that the economic dividend is felt by all. It seems to be the only way forward, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, having talked about the democratic deterioration, the committee's report, the delegation's report, also draws our attention to a number of challenges with the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. Mr. Speaker, you know that we host the Secretariat, and it is really unfortunate that as we speak, there are 3 ECOWAS countries that have not yet ratified. All experts agree that this is a game changer for industrialization in the sub-region. And I will add my voice to the need for all ECOWAS member states to ratify the AFTA agreement and ensure that all of our countries in the sub-region participate fully in this game changer, which will create jobs and will see to the industrialization of Africa. So we renew the call for Benin, Liberia, and Guinea-Bissau to ratify the AFTA agreements so that they can be part of this important trade market, which potentially is bigger than the WTO. As I round up, Mr. Speaker, I would also like to point to some key economic indicators contained in the report. The ECO target We are told that the new launch date is in 2027, and yet we know that a lot of economies in the sub-region are really facing difficulties. I see that the issue of inflation has been highlighted. We now have an average of inflation of 13.6%, as contained at page 31 of the delegation's report. This is a potent threat to the rollout of ECHO, and if care is not taken, the 2027 launch date will be missed again, just like the earlier launch dates were missed. But Mr. Speaker, it's clear that a few countries are doing well economically, and we need to learn from them. We need to find out what they are doing. For example, the debt to GDP ratio.
Honourable members, please, the noise is too much. Please, please. Yes, let's hear.
So, Mr. Speaker, the countries that are doing well, that have a low debt to GDP ratio, as we see at page 31 of the report, there is an opportunity for countries like Ghana that is having challenges with that. Now that the World Bank is reporting that we are on the verge of exceeding 100%, we need to share ideas and exchange, experiences to see how we can adapt some of the strategies that countries that are doing well in some of these indicators, what are their secrets, so that we can also learn from them, as they also learn from us in other indicators that we are doing better than. But Mr. Speaker, I'll be remiss if I do not emphasize the fact that the ECOWAS Parliament, as it is now, just like the Pan-African Parliament and all the regional parliaments, Mr. Speaker, remain delegations of parliaments from member countries. The original idea, which has not been abandoned and which many of our citizens look forward to, is universal adult suffrage, where all adults, all the electorate of these countries can participate in direct elections of our members of parliament in this ECOWAS Parliament and then in the Pan-African Parliament. So full integration, that has not yet been achieved, and the dream of continental African unity, the United African States, as was originally envisioned by the Osagifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Mr. Speaker, on an occasion like this, we should be reminded of those ideals, that these are just steps, building blocks to what really should be, what the destination is. We are not there yet, and we need to quicken up and hasten the process to getting to that final political entity, which is true unity, true integration, that abolishes all of these artificial boundaries. I conclude, Mr. Speaker, by wishing the three countries that will be holding elections next year, Nigeria, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, the very best. They will be following up from Gambia. Gambia has held very peaceful, successful elections, having transitioned for the first time since strongman Yahya Jammeh was forced out of power. And Mr. Speaker, we must change that narrative, that the ECOWAS sub-region is the headquarters of coups and political instability. We wish Nigeria, Liberia, and Sierra Leone the very best, and we hope that the three other countries that have had a democratic setback, Guinea, Mali, and Burkina Faso, will quickly transition and bring back democratic order, and let us all work towards the dream of real integrated continental unity. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debate, all those in favour of the motion say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is hereby adopted. Yes, leadership.
Speaker, I guess we've assessed that all the items as agreed are complete. So I'll move the House to adjourn to tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the forenoon.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion for adjournment.
Honourable members, the motion for adjournment has been moved and seconded. The question is, all those in favour of the adjournment say aye. All those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion for adjournment is hereby adopted. The House is accordingly adjourned to tomorrow 10 o'clock in the forenoon. Tomorrow 10 o'clock in the forenoon. The House stands adjourned.
Previously on People and Places.
We the Igbos traced our origin from Israel. Most Igbos are fair in complexion.
Okay.
Most Igbos have forehead.
Okay.
Most Igbos have flat kind of hair.
Ghana, Nigeria, Jollof. Which one do you prefer?
Every time this question comes to me, if I give this answer, people will shout. If I give this answer, people will shout.
Again, thank you for choosing us. This is still People and Places here on GhanaWeb TV. Now, in our last episode, we had a conversation with His Royal Majesty, the King of the Igbo community in Ghana, with focus on their traditions and who they are as a people. Now, we continue that conversation, but this time we focus on their stay in Ghana and their relations with the people of Ghana. Join us right after this break. My name is Wanda Amihagan. Thank you so much for staying with us. We are going to have another very interesting conversation with the diasporan king of the Igbo community here in Ghana. I'm speaking to His Royal Majesty, Dr. Eze Chukwudi Ihenetu. Eze, welcome to the second part of the show, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
So, how much do you know about Ghana?
Ghanaians are great and wonderful people. Ghanaians are very welcoming people. Ghanaians are people that have human sympathy. Ghanaians are people that like to share ideas. Ghanaians are people that give their life to a true friend. Ghanaians are people that you can trust them at all times. Ghanaians are people that maintain their culture. Ghanaians are people that have respect to their elders. If I keep talking about things I've seen and I've learned in Ghana, it will take us another 2-3 hours. But all I know is Ghanaians are great and good people.
Beautiful. You came to Ghana some 27 years ago. When did you meet your wife?
I came to Ghana in 1995. I started bringing in goods here, bringing in calculators, belts, spare parts, a whole lot. Depends on the demand of the people. You know, those days, most things that they consume in Ghana come from Nigeria. It's not now that we start going to Dubai, China, and all those areas. And we'll come to Ghana, we'll bring goods, we'll sell, we'll stay like 2 weeks, collect our money, we'll go. People also order things from us. Along the line, I met my wife in 1998. Then we
1990. You came to Ghana in 1995.
I started coming to 95.
So you met your wife 3 years after you came to Ghana.
I came to Ghana 8th of February 1995. That's my first trip to Ghana.
Okay.
I don't forget it. So we started dating. We dated like 3 months.
Okay.
And I love her so much. Then I went in for marriage.
Wow.
I married her 3 months after the date. So we married August 1998.
In Ghana or in Nigeria?
In Ghana, here, 1998. So from that time to now, 24 years of our marriage. So, and she's been a very great woman to my life, a backbone, an advisor to me, a strength to me, a prayer warrior. Things about my wife is so great, you know. So since I met her, life is good. And we love each other till tomorrow. And I have only one wife.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
No other wife, because she's so great.
I'm sure she'll be smiling when she hears everything you said about her.
She knows I talk about her everywhere. I'm so much proud of my wife.
So talking about love, I mean, you've spoken about so many things you've observed about Ghana, but I'm sure you've interacted with some of your people. What do they usually tell you that they love the most about Ghana?
If Ghanaians are not good, they will not be able to accommodate Nigerians. Sorry to say, the Nigerians, we are very fast people. You know, maybe what you are not expecting of a Nigerian will just get it done quick and move his way. So it's only somebody that loves you must have patience for you. If a person don't love you, he will never have patience for you. So something I'm telling you, something every Nigerian, every Igbo man in this country Ghana will tell you, that Ghanaians are good. That's why they can accommodate us.
Wow.
Yes.
And how easy has it been blending in since you came to Ghana?
Life can never be easy. Jesus did not even find it easy living here on earth. God in heaven didn't find it easy from devil. Devil fought him. So as long as life is concerned, if anybody's saying that life is easy, I tell the person, don't know what you're talking about. Life is not easy and it can never be easy. So before you get to a certain level in life where you relax, you have to work so hard to get that stable level of life. And even at all it is stable, there are still challenges on top of that stable you are. So life is not easy. You cannot get it easy anywhere in the world. But all I know that Ghana is a blessed land to me, to my family, and to every Igbo in this country, Ghana. Are
there any similarities you've noticed between Ghanaians or any tribes in Ghana and any tribes in Nigeria or the Igbo people?
Yeah, the Ghanaians have a similar lifestyle, cultural display with the Yorubas. And by the history we'll learn, the Gans came from Ilife, from Yoruba land. Now the Yam Festival that the Yam Festival will display in Ghana. Same thing, the Asogli Kingdom, that is my friend and a father to me, Togba Fede. Also, he celebrates Yam Festival. And many other tribes here in Ghana celebrate Yam Festival and different things. So there are a lot of similarity. The only difference here is the language.
Okay. Languages
are different, but African history, African tradition is a similar thing. Remember that as I'm sitting down here in this throne today, the Ghana Traditional Council played a wonderful, great role inducting Igbo throne in Ghana. That's why every time I always give very big thanks to Ninde Dosaki, the acting president of Ghana Traditional Council during the time of my coronation.
Are there any specific traditions that you think are here and there?
There are so many kingdoms here in Ghana that celebrate Yam Festival, and something that we do. There are some kingdoms here also around the Volta North that celebrate Rice Festival. So similar things, yeah.
Right.
Then the masquerade dance will display. There are so many areas in Ghana that display also cultural dance. Okay, even the airways, they display the Mau we saw at that place. So there are a lot of similar things, you know.
As I would want to take a quick break.
Okay.
We want Enam to give us some facts about Ghana quickly. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Now, let's learn something interesting about Ghana. Mole National Park, located in the northwestern part of Ghana, is the country's first, largest, and most prestigious wildlife refuge. It is best known for its elephant population and other primates. That's all for this week on Facts About Ghana. Until next time, let's get back and learn more with Wanda and her guests.
Welcome back from the break. That was some facts about Ghana from Enam. And we are still having an interesting conversation with the king of the Igbo community in Ghana. Eze, since you came here, I'm sure as a royal, you have interacted with some other chiefs and kings in the country from different tribes. What's your relationship generally with the traditional leaders of Ghana?
Okay, I have a very good relationship with a lot of Ghana traditional rulers, both kings and queens. By the special grace of God, I'll first of all talk about the Ghana people. I am very close to the entire Ghana kings. Like I said, from 2012 when I was coronated, Ghana Traditional Council played a major role. Then the president was Ninde Dosaki, who was the acting president of the Ghana Traditional Council then. Him and all the Ghana paramount kings were all here, and after that they inducted me. They inducted the Igbo throne in Ghana to Ghana Traditional Council. I give them very big thanks on that. And we moved on to then the president, Regional House of Chiefs, Osumanche, that died, may so rest in peace. We moved on also to the National House of Chiefs, that we also met with Togba Fede, of which we are very close with him. We are very close to so many paramount kings and non-paramounts in Ghana. Also very close to the Ashanti Hene Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Osei Tutu, the Ashanti Hene. We're also very close to him. So we are very close to so many kingdoms in Ghana, and also close to Yana at the north. In all the 16 regions, even the current president, the National House of Chiefs, we're also close to him. The Nungwa Manche, Professor Willinty, yeah. So we are close to so many of them. Both Queen Mothers are very close to them. And Ghanaian traditional institution, I would say it's one of the best in Africa. I cherish them a lot. They know how to handle royalty. They know how to promote culture. They know how to speak the language. They know how to display the language. And they know how to welcome visitors in their land traditionally. So I so much cherish, and I also learn a lot from the culture and tradition of Ghana. I learn a lot. More especially, there's a lot of patience in their tradition and culture, and a lot of communication within each other, and coming together. So it's one of the best.
Right. That's on the part of tradition or traditional leaders. Have you met or interacted with any of the country's presidents or past presidents?
Yeah. To the glory of God, from the time we started this throne, we paid courtesy call to President J.J. Rawlings. May so rest in peace. May so rest in peace. May so rest in peace. Paid a courtesy call to him, and he adopted this throne as a shed. We're very close, and sometimes he invited me. Even when the mother died, he told me, "I want you to bring your masquerades," of which I displayed the masquerade there when the mom died. We are very close to him. Also very close to former President of Ghana, Arthur Mills. May he so rest in peace, in Jesus' name. Also, from there, we also know the former President of Ghana, President Kofo. We're also very close to President Kofo. Very close to President Kofo. He loves us. You know, President Kofo loves Nigerians a lot. He loves us. We're close to him. We also do receive advice from him sometimes. President Mahama, also close to him. He loves us. He loves Nigerians. The current president of Ghana, President Akufo-Addo, he loves us. He loves Nigerians. We know him. Also close to him. I can remember 2017, one of our young festival that's so big like that. After the festival, he hosted myself and the president, Nigeria Traditional Ruling Council, Esunupe, right in his house in Nima. And a couple of times, we've also met with him. He's a great leader and a father to the nation, so whom we are submissive to his authority as the President of the Republic of Ghana. So we are pleased to the entire leadership of Ghana, from traditional institution to government, to the, by the special grace of God, they know of our existence, and we are submissive. The entire Igbos, this throne, we are submissive to the authority of Ghana. We are submissive to traditional institution of Ghana. We are submissive to government institution of Ghana. We are not challenging any authority in Ghana. but rather we are submissive to the authority because we are foreigners. And anything that we do must be according to the rules and regulation of the land. We cannot dwell here or having Igbo kinship without the approval of the land. If the landowner, the landlords, the host nation, if they don't want the existence of we Nigerians or Igbos in this country, we will not function. But because they gave us the opportunity, that's why we're functioning. So we are submissive to the authority, and we promise to be loyal to the authority of the land at all times, and not to violate the laws of the land, rather to add more to the value of the land by doing business in Ghana, bringing investors, having our own properties, building in Ghana, developing businesses. We add more to the economy of Ghana. So we respect the land.
Really good to know. Now, your relationship with your fellow ethnic groups. There are Hausas, there are Yorubas. I don't know if you have any other ethnic groups in Ghana, but what's your relationship with them?
We have 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. So within the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria, the ones that are functioning very, very well is the southeast, south-south, southwest, and the north. So all these ethnic groups, but in Nigeria, the major ethnic group is 3 groups: Igbo, Yoruba, and Hausa. And we are very close to each other. I believed you were at the Yam Festival last Sunday on the 18th. Yorubas were there in full, both their kings and their chiefs. Hausas are there in full. South, they are there in full. All tribes of Nigeria that live in Ghana were there. So we are very close. We walk closer to each other. Nobody is working to leave his brother behind. We are all working close to the glory of God.
What unique things are there about Igbos that maybe Ghanaians or other people around the world may not know about?
The unique things about the Igbo is well known. I don't think there's a unique thing hidden about Igbo that people don't know. Everybody knows that every Igbo man is a hard-working person. Everybody knows that every Igbo man is an entrepreneur. Everybody knows that every Igbo man loves education. Everybody knows every Igbo man loves doing business. Okay? Commerce. Everybody knows that every Igbo man wants to live in peace with his wife or her husband. Everybody knows that every Igbo man loves children. Everybody knows that every Igbo man, the priority of every Igbo man is his wife and his children. An Igbo man can decide to go barefooted, but the wife and the children are in the car. The happiness of Igbo man is, oh, that is Chuk's wife and the children. They feel good, feel buga. You know what I'm saying? They feel buga. So, the priority of them is, oh, my son is in Lagos, my son is in America, my son is here schooling, my wife is there and that. So these are unique things about Igbo man, and everybody in the world know, because Igbos are all over the world, even where you never expected to send Igbo man, he's there.
You see them.
So because of our lifestyle, people know everything about. There's no unique thing about Igbo man that is hidden.
Okay.
No lifestyle of Igbo man that is hidden.
Right. Now, we've spoken a lot about your stay in Ghana. You've spoken about your relationship with major people and even the ordinary people in Ghana. But what challenges have you faced, if any, since you came to Ghana? And even, I mean, from interacting with your people, what are some of the challenges your people have told you they face living here in Ghana?
Myself, I have never faced any challenges in Ghana. All my years in Ghana has been very smooth, very cordial, very sweet, very profitable. At least your sister has given me 5 children. It's a benefit, right? But yes, my subjects, some of them face challenges. That challenges is at the area of trade. But my father in the Lord, T.B. Joshua, said, if you don't know the root cause of problem, you will not be able to solve it. The root cause of the problem is not a thing to blame Ghanaians or to work against the people of Ghana, but rather the root cause, we Nigerians are the one that's supposed to look into the root cause and solve the problem ourselves. Now, second solution would be pleading for mercy. Okay? Pleading for judgment for mercy. What am I saying? In the area of trade in Ghana, the laws of Ghana prohibit foreigners not to be into retailing in their local markets. Either you register your company as a foreigner by declaration of either goods or money through the Bank of Ghana, $1 million. You register your company with 0.5% of that money as Registrar General, and also the GIPC documentation certificates and all that. Then you can now trade as a foreigner, but still you need to employ about 25 Ghanaians. You can trade, or you open your company by having a Ghanaian as the chairman of your company. Now at that level, you're not gonna do all those kind of declarations anymore. But the question is, how many of our people here can raise $1 million to put in a bank as a share capital, or that can import goods that are worth $1 million in Ghana? How many of them can do this? That is the question. That's where we're having problem that's hanging on our neck. You understand? So those that are capable enough are doing this. Those that are not capable enough are hustling to survive. Some of them, maybe their shop is not even valued up to $5,000, $10,000. Where on earth can they raise such money? The other way around, those also have Ghanaians as the chairman of their company, they're also flourishing. So, but remember that a little drop of water makes a mighty ocean. Most of the people that are well-to-do right now, that have those documentations, started from somewhere, and they grow up to a certain stage where they are now today, that they are dwelling at that level of having all these documents. So I always tell the government of Ghana and the Ghana Trade Union to tamper justice with mercy by looking at we Nigerians, that we are brothers and sisters. As we are trying to survive here, Ghanaians are also somewhere trying to survive. When we look at all these areas, we can see the way to accommodate ourselves. And when the shops of these people are locked, it affects their feeding, house rent, light bills, water bills, children education, and their health. Because if the shops are locked and the business in there are locked, let's for instance, someone is sick in the family. How can the father take that child or that woman to hospital? Maybe the children are hungry, crying for food. But there's goods in the daddy's shop, but it's locked. How would they eat? And these things also generate crime. When the children are hungry, the father look at the kids, they're hungry, crying. There's no money. If somebody brainwash him to go and do something silly, evil thing to make money, he will go. Because the kids must eat. The children are in the hospital. They need hospital bills. Men need to pay hospital bills, and there's no money. then you see crime climbing more and more. But when out of mercy and they allow them to trade, that occupies their mind. Every trader is thinking how to sell his goods, how to get credit from wholesalers to put in shop, make money, make a return, and send back. Thinking on where to send their goods. They're not thinking anything evil. They go to work in the morning, come back in the evening, they are tired, they are sleeping, wake up in the morning, go to work. But an idle man is devil workshop. When they sit one place and there's hunger at home, there's no food, people are sick, their minds start, going to different direction. So, and if they are here and their documents, maybe their resident permit is in order, or they have 90 days to stay in Ghana and they are doing business in Ghana, their wife and their children are here. I lock their shop. You can't expect them to quickly go to Nigeria, immediately lock their shop, right? They are still living here in this country, Ghana. How would they survive? So that's why I keep pleading for the government and the Ghana Trade Union to look into this matter and tamper justice with mercy. The other way around, the same people, the same Nigerians are adding more value to the economy of Ghana because most of us that are married, our children are schooling here. From kindergarten to primary to secondary and to university. These things are also adding money to the value of wealth already in Ghana. As we are here, we're also talking good about Ghana back home. And people are also coming in from Nigeria to Ghana to come and live in Ghana because of the testimonies we are giving about Ghana. Just look at the concluded Yam Festival. 520 people came from Nigeria. And some came from America, some came from Israel, some came from other parts of the world. They all lodged in a hotel, and hiring cars and Uber is involved. They all do shopping in Ghana, and most of them that came from Nigeria flew African World Airline. That is the Ghanaian home base airline, and those that come by road and the whole lot. So, at the level of tourism, they have also added money. Many of them went to Almina Castle to see Almina Castle. They also pay money to go there. They buy petrol to that way, hiring cars and all that. So, the same traders, as we live here, we promote the goodness of Ghana to Nigeria and attract people in. So I am not saying that Nigerians are right fighting over Ghanaians to open their shops for them, but I'm pleading that they should tamper justice with mercy. Every country, a sovereign nation, they have their own rules and regulations, bylaws, and constitution that rules the land. So based on the laws of this land, Ghana, that prohibits foreigners not to trade, we cannot persuade them, no. And I, as a king of my people, I am pleading for government to tamper justice with mercy and Ghana Trade Union to see us as one of them and allow us to please trade with them.
That's it. On that note, I want to say thank you very, very much.
Welcome.
For speaking to us and for sharing a lot of insights about your people, your story, your history with the people of Ghana. We're grateful.
Welcome.
So that is how we wrap up the show. It's been a very insightful one. We are very happy you could do this with us. You spent time with us. I'm sure you learned a thing or two, and now you know more about the Igbo people. If you meet them out there, you'll be able to interact and understand them better. We've been speaking to His Royal Majesty Dr. Eze Chikudu Iheletu, and he is the diasporan king of the Igbo community here in Ghana. See you next time. Stay safe. My name is Wanda Ami.
Secondary school by this government, and it will be taken off this year. That is the Larbanga Islamic Senior High. It is one of the new secondary schools that is supposed to take off this academic year, and so that is what you have seen there, ladies and gentlemen of the press. So, bringing my report to an end, I cannot end by not talking about health. And so that one I am not going to talk plenty. I want them to project it on the screen for us to see. Bole District Assembly have constructed 5 chiefs compounds. Central Gonja 6, East Gonja have constructed 5, North Gonja 3, North East Gonja 4, Solatuna Kalba 2, Damongo have constructed, West Gonja, let me use West Gonja, have constructed 3. So when you come to health centers, 1 has been constructed in Bole, 1 in North East Gonja, and 1 in West Gonja. Clinics, we've already constructed only 1 in Central Gonja. And the rest, 1 hospital has been constructed in Bupe, and 1 has been constructed in Salaga, Sola, STK, Sola, and 1 at Bamboy. They are the emergency hospitals that you find along the major trunk roads to at least attend to accident victims along the main road. So that is, and lastly, we cannot end by not talking about Agenda 111, which is another very important program rolled out by this government. And Savannah Region happens to have had 3 of them, but 2 is under construction. That is the one in Northeast Gonja, specifically Kalbi, you can see them there, and 1 in North Gonja, precisely Daboya. And the last one, that the environmental impact assessment has been done and waiting for funds for the award of contract, is the regional hospital in Damongo. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring my report to a close. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the insightful presentation, Honorable Minister. As promised, we told Ghanaians that we will bring you State of the Regions reports from each region. And I believe if you are in this room or if you are watching us on GTV or watching us on Facebook at Ministry of Information, you must be so satisfied knowing that every aspect of development in the Savannah region has been covered. But these are some highlights that I picked from Honorable Minister's presentation, that the region has had so much improvement in terms of agric outputs, and especially with the introduction of planting for food and jobs and planting for export and rural developments. He mentioned that for planting for exports, a total of 1,424,526 seedlings have been distributed to 18,349 beneficiaries. That is so substantial, and I hope we acknowledge that. And the second thing that he mentioned that was really hitting home was the fact that 3 warehouses are being constructed and 2 are completed and in use, we know that there is so much waste in the agric value chain that a lot of farmers work so hard and it goes to waste. And for the government's insight and foresight to make sure that we have adequate storage for agric produce so that we create and circulate value and not let the suffering or the hassle of farmers go to waste. That is so commendable, Honorable Minister. It is also important to note that a lot of improvements are being done in the area of roads. An Honorable Minister mentioned some very interesting facts, including the Damongo Township roads, which are asphalted, and I think that's so beautiful. I was really excited because the last time I went to Damongo a long time ago, I didn't see asphalt. He also mentioned the Salaga Township roads and the Daboya Township roads. Most importantly, there has been so much development in the area of infrastructure when it comes to health and education. And the Honorable Minister mentioned that a total of 80 educational infrastructure projects have been delivered, and a lot of them are still on the way and are still at the baby stage, but inshallah there are projects that would also be completed. He also mentioned that a total of 37 health infrastructure projects have been constructed, and he mentioned that the Agenda 111 projects are ongoing. Out of 3 projects, 2 are at various stages of construction, including the Agenda 111 projects in Daboya and Palbi. And we are looking forward to receiving more interventions in terms of infrastructure to lift the Savannah region. So thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for the insights. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for questions. If you have any question, kindly show by hand. We'll bring the microphone to you. You mention your name, media house, and then proceed to ask your question. Okay, so I can see 4 hands. A 5th, 6th. Okay, we will pick all at once since they are not many. So let's start from Agnes.
Good afternoon. My name is Agnes. I report for Chronicle. Minister, when you were talking, you made mention of some boundary issues, which once in a while causes conflict in some of the districts over there. I'd like to know how these boundary issues affect agriculture in the area. And then also you made mention of the production of some tons of maize, rice and yam and others. I'd like to know if food is cheaper in the region, and if yes, that's okay, but if no, I'd like to know the factors that are causing the scarcity. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Atamesa from Ghana News Agency. My first question is on the minister saying that the region rely on rain, natural rain for agriculture production, and sometimes because of a low pattern of the rainfall situation, it affects some agriculture production. But I'm wondering, because every year Bagri Dam in the Burkina Faso is spilled, and we see many communities flooded, farms flooded. What plans have you put in place to harvest this excess water? Because I know government has been implementing one village, one dam. What measures has your outfit done to store this water so that you use it during the dry season? Then 2, boundary demarcation issue. 3 years into the creation of the region, and you are still saying you are having problem with boundary distribution, and sometimes there's dispute over land. What is the current stage in resolving this boundary situation? Then my third question, you mentioned 33 store projects by Ghana Highway Authority, 33, and out of the 33 projects, 16 kilometers. What are the reasons that have been alluded to this storage of of this road. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Please, if we can keep the questions brief and maximum 2 so that we can take another round.
All right, thank you. My name is John Awuni. I represent Kesbin. I have some very short, quick questions. My first question is, I just wanted to know how far the Damango Water Project, what is the current status of the Damango Water Project? And then my second question has to do with, when it came to the manifesto of the MPP, you did campaign or you did talk about one village, one dam. How many dams? Basically, there's no school activities. They've been forced to shut down. So what's the way out in terms of the dam spillage? Because this keeps coming up. And if Honorable can address the issue of the schools that have been shut down, we'll be grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. I think that was the last question. Okay, so we'll go for Minister's responses and come back.
Thank you very much. Let me start with the last gentleman who asked the question on Bui Dam. In fact, yesterday I happened to have visited the site or the communities that have been affected by the spillage of the Bui Dam. This one is not the Bagri Dam, it's the Bui Dam. And we realized that about 4 communities were totally displaced. Over 1,000, or sorry, let me put it, 290 households was what was affected, and about 1,000 inhabitants in the 4 communities were completely displaced. And 2 schools, like you rightly said, 2 schools were also affected. So I immediately after that, I tasked the district chief executive for the Central Gonja, because education is very important, for us to absorb those children in the public schools in the district capital. And that is going to be done hopefully by Tuesday, because tomorrow, Monday, the meeting will be held between the 2 head teachers and the district director of education, including the DC. That was the instruction I gave to him, and rightly so. I believe by Tuesday, Wednesday, the children would have been given to other schools so that they can attend classes without any hitch until such a time that the waters subside. Then you also spoke about, as if you know Palby very well. I am really surprised I heard it from a journalist. That's very true. And not all of them, not 70%. At least I know just a few people. It's a very small, it's a new region, it's a new district that was created. And as a matter of fact, there was infrastructure problems there. And even most of the workers stay in Tamale, and they have to come to Palby, which is not very far from Tamale, to at least do what is their work. And so what we did was to construct a new assembly hall complex as a result of this problem that they are facing. But unfortunately, that is a problem. Unfortunately, this contractor, not that there was no money, there is money for the project. It so happened that the contractor later said he didn't study the bill of quantities very well and signed the contract. After studying the bill of quantities later, at least he built to the lentil level and stopped, and said not until government does something about the bill of quantities, he was not going to go back to site. So we have written for the termination of the contract, and I'm happy the DC is here. So that is what we are happening. We are in the process of what? Getting it back on track so that these people will have shelter to work. It's not even all of them, like 70%. I don't think so. It's just, you know, the system, a lot of our workers would rather prefer to go and sit under mango. It's not like here. We have a lot of trees in the north. You find that workers would rather go leave the offices and go and sit under trees and be talking. That's maybe what you have seen. And there's a very big tree in front of the office. And anytime I go there, I find them seated chatting, you know. So something is being done about it. Then, very good story, dollar power. I think it is an area where we are really worried about because of the extremists we are hearing about in our surrounding or neighboring countries, particularly Burkina Faso. Dollar power is fully active, very, very active. And so, because we have seen that that place is very, very volatile, it could be a safe haven for terrorist activities. The RECSEC, in collaboration with the Ministry of Defense, have put up three forward operating bases in that area. One in Bole, one at the dollar power itself, and one in Chache. This one, the Chache is located actually in the STK. That is the the Solar Tona Kalba district. So that in case there's any problem, these forward operation bases are going to act immediately. And because of that, as I speak, there's an establishment of 155 Regiment barracks, which is their specialty is this heavy artillery, which is now in Damango. Every machine that they require is there. The men and women are there from the Ghana Armed Forces, so that they could support these three forward operating bases to be able to counter the activities of these terrorists in the Savannah region. You are well aware, the Savannah region, when you go to the western part of it, we have boundaries with La Côte d'Ivoire and the Burkina Faso. And that is why these particular FOBs are specifically located in those areas for us to combat those criminals who are there operating. And I think after that, after the establishment of those forward operating bases, I think the criminal activities there have reduced drastically. Then, lastly, you know, when you went there, you realize that there are no roads. You have to use motorbikes. This season is a no-go area. So what we have done also is that we are in touch with the national security who are collaborating with the Ghana Armed Forces to construct a road. I was in the meeting to construct a road right from Bole to the dollar power area to make the place accessible. So the engineering work is done, where we need to, what has delayed it is the bridges. And they are working very hard to make the bridges over those rivers so that we can easily get access to that area. Then 1D1F, total number of 1D1F. You know, when this program was one district, one dump, yes. It was one village, one dump, one V, 1D. You know, every region was given 10. Sorry, every district was given 10 in the Savannah area, particularly the northern areas. And so some have had water, depending on the area. If you take Bole, for instance, all the 10 dams have collected enough water. None has run dry. If you go to STK, we have 10. All have collected water. You go to Damango, we have 7 that have collected water. 3 no, they have not been able to get water during the drying season because the place always dries up quickly. Then you go to Salaga. Salga, all the 9, that's East Gonja municipal. We have 9 out of what? 10 that have not been able to collect water. Then Kwalbi, how many? 8, sorry. That is Northeast Gonja, 8 out of 10. Then you go to North Gonja, all the 10 have water. So that is how the statistics is as it is. Now, you're talking about the Bui spillage, which I think yesterday with my coordinating director, that was the first time I have, as a regional minister, that I have faced such a problem. Simple thing to do is to construct a dam around that area that will collect the only way out is to construct a dam, because the Bui spillage is not, the capacity or the volume of the water is not the same as the Bagre Dam. We can easily collect it if a dam is constructed upstream to take in the water. For Bagre Dam, it's a national problem, and I, as a regional minister, will only advise the center as to what to do. I cannot, because the Bagre the program is stalled. Yes, the man didn't even go. He didn't even go to tell us whether he has the capacity to do it or not. I believe after seeing that the work is beyond him, he decided not to even go and try it. So let me assure the people of Bole that once I am concerned, and if the project is formally abrogated, the contract is formally abrogated, we'll get a contractor who has the capacity to go to Bole and start the roads. That is what I am going to go into. Because sometimes this is just the reason why contracts are awarded. We have similar contracts in Damango where contracted, that's why somebody asked question, 33 stall projects. Yes, they are stalled because contractors rush when they are advertised. They bring all the paperwork, that qualifies them for the job, but they don't have the capacity to do it. That is why most of the works have stalled. Because I have an experience in Damango where we gave a 24 million cedis contract to a contractor for Damango urban roads, and he couldn't do it. He has to run away. So that one too is in the pipeline for it. So that is the bane of the problems in the road sector. Not just that government is not paying. Government is doing its best to pay some of the contractors. It's just that most of the contracts are awarded to the contractors who don't have the capacity. And that is why it is stalled. They are stalled. That is what I know. That's my experience as a regional minister on that. That is what I can say. Then I'll leave the John Auni. That's very good. I am also worried about the Damango water problem. Fortunately, when Dr. Clifford told me he was coming, I said, no, this guy, I need you here. I know this question may come up. So, Doc, let me leave this question to you to answer. Because if the fish come out of the river and tells you that the crocodile has a long mouth, you have to believe the crocodile. Than the lion coming from the bush to tell you the crocodile has a long mouth. So I'll leave it to you. Thank you, Doc. Damango and Salga water situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I thought I was coming to witness. And then go back. Minister has some adequate information that he could have presented, actually. We have finished with everything with Damango Water. The banks have signed the documents, they've back to Ghana, and the contractor is expecting his initial payment this month. God willing, by the close of the month, they should take their initial payment, and they've given me 11th November, they are supposed to be on site to start the construction. So it's not something that we're just playing around. It's a very serious matter. It's not only Damango, it's linked up with Tamale, because we are producing the water from Yapi. A portion of it is going to Tamale, 135,000 cubic meters, and then about 15,000 cubic meters going to Damango. So that's where I will talk about for Damango. And then for Salaga, for now we can say that the inner part of Salaga is connected, and for that matter benefiting from the rehabilitation of the system that we completed in 2018, 2019, thereabout. The problem now is to extend to the peripheral areas, which are newly built areas, in addition to where Salaga was at the time they were doing the construction. And we are taking our steps to do that, and that is why we had to change the pipeline from the production center and to increase the capacity from the production up to the high-level tank in Pembi that is now doing the distribution. So Salaga is also under control. I have just approved 33 kilometers of pipe network in Salaga that is under process. And I'm sure before the end of the year, people will see construction of new lines in Salaga to cover another set of people. Thank you very much.
Yes, there was a question on why disputes on the boundaries between Savannah region and some other regions. The reason is not administrative. You know, the administrative boundaries are very clear. They are set clear. If 7 districts were in northern region and now in a different region, it means the boundaries are maintained. So it's just a matter of carving out those boundaries from the mother region. But the problem has to do with chieftaincy. So, for instance, the community that we are talking about in North Gonja called Lukula, they are predominantly Mamprustis. They see their allegiance to the Nairi, let me put it that way. So they think that they shouldn't pay allegiance to the North Gonja. And that is the problem. And so they want to pay allegiance to Mamprugi Mauduru, which is under the Nairi. But if you look at it administratively, they are under the North Gonja. And so even North Gonja district, trying to send schools, hospitals there, the people reject it because they don't see themselves to be part of North Gonja. But administratively, they are under North Gonja. So it has to do with tradition and chieftaincy. And so what we have done is that we are putting in place committees made up of technocrats, both from the Savannah region and the Northeast, who are engaging the chiefs, at least, to come to an amicable solution. And the Gonjaland Youth Association have taken lead in doing those things. The same thing has to do with Tolona and the Waspeora. You know, it has to do with chieftaincy more or less, not administratively. And so once it has to do with chieftaincy and tradition, definitely it is bound to raise some eyebrows. And once that happens, you have violence. And so we are making sure that we don't have those problems. So in as much as we are trying to avoid interference in chieftaincy and then traditional issues, what we do is to provide security when such things come and leave it to the traditional leaders to sort out. 2, food prices. Food prices, as you are well aware, is just like this year, our food prices are cheaper because of we are in a season where food is abundant, just like any other place. Food prices are relatively low. A bowl of gari sold here in Accra. When I heard the price, I was really shocked. A bowl of gari in Damango is 12 cedis. 12 cedis. Just go to Damango and say you want a bowl of gari, 12 cedis. 5 tubers of yam, 100 cedis. Big ones, not miserable tubers of yam. Yes, not miserable ones. So as we speak, food prices, because of the season that we found ourselves, is down. But as we grow into the drying season, we get into definitely it goes up, but not as compared to the prices here in Accra. There's no way it's going to, because they have to cut them from that area and bring the transportation costs and other profit making. You add all those things, definitely our prices are not, it's not like what we have here, no way. Then lastly, you asked of the road between Salaga and Pandai. The road is constructed by a Chinese company called Namferos. Namferos is 90% complete. The road is 90% complete. And in fact, personally, I was very happy when I visited there. And there were issues of payment. Government has paid him some, and he's here to, at least they've prepared the last certificate. As I speak, the certificate is in Fidelity Bank for him to be paid, because I'm interested in the project. So I follow his documentation for him to just finish the 10%. So it is done. So try the road and see, and come back and tell the story to the people in Accra. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. I will take the last set of questions, but because of time, I elect to give the opportunity to those who haven't asked any question. Unless there are no hands, and then maybe I'll take one or two. Okay, Nana Poku, please. Okay, and then I'll take one from the back.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. I want to find out from you, since it's a new region, I believe revenue mobilization and generation will be a difficulty. What do you have to do with tourism? Because you may have some tourist sites. For instance, the Salaga slave market is there. What are you doing, as it were, to develop the tourism in the areas, to generate money to undertake some of the projects we are talking about? My second question has to do with the activities of Fulani herdsmen and the cattle in general, because I learned those areas, cattle struggle with farmers and human beings in water and maize and things like that. Are we able to, as it were, control the activities of these Fulani herdsmen and cattle so that you may get enough from your agri produce? And my last one, when you set up a new region like this, courting or getting technocrats and administrative staff to the place always become a difficulty. Do you have all the complement of the regional directors of health, agri, education, regional police commander, and those things. Do you have them in full complement? Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question, Nana. We'll take that. You're okay, okay. Then he says it's okay, so we'll take. If you have follow-up questions, yes, we'll take the three of you.
Honorable, still on dollar power. If it's still operational, has there been any efforts to close it down because it's illegal, and for now illegal mining has been banned? And secondly, there was this issue with rosewood harvesting in the Mole Game Reserve enclave. How have you dealt with that issue? Because it was beginning to eat into the Mole Game Reserve. Have you worked on that? Are people still doing that, or you've put in place measures to deal with that? Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question. So we'll take the two of you. Okay.
Yes, and just a reminder, Honorable did not tackle the Fufusu Solar road. Yes. And then the final question is, you talked about 60% in education. I wanted to know how the e-project that was led by the previous government, and how many have you completed in support of your 60% investment in education? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll take the last question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable, I was also happy when you mentioned the prices of food in Damongo, and I was thinking of relocating to Savannah Region. Compared to food prices in Accra, relocating to Savannah would be a good thing for me. I'm saying, per the food prices in the Savannah Region, Damongo, I was thinking of relocating to Damongo. Because Accra, the food prices are really taking most of our money. Okay, so to my own question, I know Galamsey is a bigger issue in the whole country. I don't know about Savannah Region, how you are dealing with it, or there's no mineral resources that they are exploring. And so if you can talk a little about how you are managing this issue there. Then my brother mentioned a tourist site, and we all know Monley Game Reserve and Larabanga Mosque. They are very popular tourist sites in the region. What effort are you making to make this place more attractive for more tourists to come there? Thank you.
That's our last question. So we invite Minister for his responses and final remarks.
Yes, let me first take Moli National Park and Larbanga Mosque and add the Larbanga Mystic Stone. These are tourist sites. As you are well aware, the Moli National Park is the largest natural park in the whole of West Africa. And it is very sad that we've not been able to develop it to a level that tourists will always want to come and come and come again. Because this is not directly under the West Gonja Municipal Assembly, nor directly under the RCC. It is manned and managed by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. And it becomes very difficult if something is being controlled at the top here. So the process of the park does not go to the West Gonja Municipal Assembly, nor do we even see them at the RCC level. But we always talk to them to try and upgrade the place, because if you go into, when the people who know the New York Botanical Gardens, it's the same thing. You go there, you see what the people have done. Sometimes you ask yourself, why can't we do same here to generate this? But if we give it to the private sector to manage, I think that will help. That is my suggestion. I was talking to them. We can have a PPP agreement on the Moli National Park. Apart from the accommodation that is run by private people, but the main tourist attraction in there is under the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. So it is with the Larbanga Mosque, Asian Mosque, and the Mystic Stone, directly under the Ministry of Tourism. You see, so it becomes practically difficult for the districts to at least manage them. If they were directly under the districts, they could have managed them and bring them to a level that they will be more and more attractive, because that's where they can easily generate the revenue. So that is why it is difficult for revenue generation within the localities where these things are found. Until such a time that we decentralize the management of those tourist sites to the various districts, it will practically be difficult for us to be able to at least develop those sites. Not until you get funds from the tourism authority or the Ministry of Tourism. There's no way district can go and then develop something when they don't get revenue from it. And that is the difficulty. So possibly we have to change the way we do things to be able to develop these areas. But all the same, we cannot sit there and throw our hands in the air and say that we won't do something about it. Surely we are in touch with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. And fortunately, the MP is the minister. And so it's easy to get Moli National Park issues resolved. And so we are working so much on it. And that is why practically it is difficult for us to be able to mobilize revenue, because we don't get them. And the Salga Slave Wells and Market, I think that one is still under the Ministry of Tourism, like I said. It's just the same problem they are also facing. I was there last week with the Vice President, and we happened to look at it. And I was suggesting to the Vice President to see the Minister so that we can develop that place, because it is it's something that is very good. If we develop it, we will attract a lot of tourists to those areas, and Ghana government will make a lot of money from tourism. So let's go to Fufluso Solar Road. Unfortunately, on it passed on about 3 months ago. That's why that project has been stalled. So you know there are family issues. They have to resolve the family issues before. So that's why we have not done anything about it. Else we would have forced him to come to site, but unfortunately the managing director is no more, and they are working on who should own the contract and whatnot. So we're just giving them time because they are still mourning. So after that, we'll see what to do. That's why you have not seen work on it again for some time now. So that's for the Fufluso Road, Fufluso Solar Road. Then Rosewood. Rosewood has completely been banned in the Savannah region since I took over as the regional minister. You can't find one log again leaving Savannah region. We've closed down all the Chinese factories. We've made sure that we put barriers to search all vehicles that are passing. That is the work of the police, because we have to put up a task force to completely stop the Savannah. As you are well aware, the Savannah region makes up the 70% of the ecological zone of that area. And so the devastation on our forest was just too much. So the only way to do it was to stop them completely, and that has been done. For almost a year now, we've been able to stop it in collaboration with the Gonjaland Youth Association. They are still having a problem battling with the chiefs over commercial charcoal burning, and that one too. We tried our best to do it, you know, but chiefs are the custodians of the land. They say they also want something to eat. So at a point, we'll allow it to happen, then we'll close it again. Able, in collaboration with the of illegal mining. Miners who have converged from other countries and this part of the world where gold, the Galamsey was already operating. So they've all converged there, almost the whole area. So recently, we have to conduct an operation on illegal mining, particularly on our rivers, the Black Volta. They are all over it. I would have shown you a video where we did our recognizance work on them, and you can see that almost an entire stretch of the river is being mined by these illegal miners. So we have arrested, as of last week, we've arrested 13 of them. So we've started an operation with the 6BN in Tamale. So that is how far we've gone. But don't forget, Dollar Power is not just for mining. It's now a town on its own. So if we cannot close down a town, they will take us to court. So all that we can do as Rex is to make sure that we stop them from doing illegal mining. But you cannot close down the place. It's a town. It's just like asking Accra people to leave here because of fault. What are you going to do? Can you ask everybody in Accra to leave because of fault? You can't. So it's the same thing that we are facing. All that we can do is to stop the illegal mining. Yeah, I'm just coming through there. So Fulani herdsmen, you know, the Fulani herdsmen menace is as a result of understanding between our chiefs and the Fulanis. So it is practically difficult for you to ask them to leave. So what we have done is that in collaboration with USAID, we have trained some 5 eminent chiefs who are handling the herdsmen problem between the chiefs, the farmers, and the herdsmen. So what we have done is that in some areas, the chiefs have earmarked some land for the herdsmen to go with their cattle to graze in those areas where there are no farms, to avoid the conflict between the farmers and the herdsmen. So this is what we have done. And then the education is going on. I attended a workshop on that organized by the 5 eminent chiefs in Bole some time ago to make sure that the cattle doesn't stray into farmers' land or into their farms to bring about the conflict. So that is what is being done. Also, you are aware that these herdsmen come with young men at the end of the day. When they fall out, with their families, they become criminals and highway robbery, kidnapping, and whatnot. In fact, you realize that for now you don't hear of robbery on our highways again because we have taken action against them, and it's really working for us. And that's why the Savannah region, our roads are now free of armed robbery and in our communities. On that note, E-block. Unfortunately, we had only one E-block in the Savannah region. Only one. I didn't say 2. Unfortunately, the Savannah region, all the E-blocks scattered around this country, Savannah only got 1, and it's complete. That is Carpenter School is that. Bamboy Senior High. It's operational for the past 5 years. So we had only 1 E-block. It's complete. There's no E-block again in the Savannah region. And the Empower one, yes, sorry. Yeah. There was one in Empower, I forgot. That one, when government took over, it was not complete. It's now complete, and the school is what? Complete. And the operational. I think this is their second year. It's now a boarding school as well. So it was about 70%, but this government, ever since we came to power, we are able to complete it, and it's now operational. On that note, the department, good. Let me just finish. Yes. Let me just finish with the technocrats. The technocrats, I think everybody is in place. There's nobody we don't have as a region. The regional agri director is working. You know, when they first came, there was no place for them. We have to force all of them into the regional capital by way of sharing the offices. So you had the regional agri director in the same office with the regional, with the district director of agriculture. We splitted it into two. They were working. The regional director of health is having an office in the Damango Polyclinic, where he's working comfortably with his workers. You have the urban rules. All the departments are working, except some of the agencies that need their own privacy, and some of them are working feverishly to get their offices in place. National Health Insurance, their office is finished, complete. You have the judicial service courts is complete with the accommodation of the judges. All are complete, fully furnished. The police, regional police headquarters, is almost 60% complete. We have reached a level that it's a 3-story building that is almost reaching the level of 70%. But the accommodation, regional police headquarters, accommodation and the deputy, they are all finished. And as I speak, it has been connected to electricity, water, and everything, waiting for them to move in. And many other heads of department. I think the only agencies that we are waiting for is NCA, FDA, those agencies. But what we need for the region to start, almost all the technocrats are in place. Almost all of them are in place, and all resident in Damango as we speak. On that note, let me thank you so much for your attention, and particularly thank the Ministry of Information for this opportunity to showcase our region to the world. And for that matter, Ghana. Let me say that Savannah Region is welcoming all investors to the Savannah Region. We have deposits of gold, large deposits of gold. Clinker. Today, you go and ask of the price of cement, and you won't believe it. We have the raw material lying in Bupe at whatever quantity. As I speak, clinker is being exported from Ghana and from Savannah Region to Burkina Faso. If we make good use of what we have here, I think prices of very important commodities will go down. And Savannah Region is calling on all investors who are interested in mining. Will you believe that the hydrocarbon deposit in the whole northern belt, 70% of them is located in the Savannah Region, which is being exploited by GNPC as we speak for the production of oil. 70% of the deposits is in the Savannah Region. And so for farming, those who are interested in agriculture, sugarcane production, the central part of Savannah Region is ready for you. That's where all the water tributaries are. The rivers are all in that area. If you want granules production, you go to Bole area. And that is why under 1D1F, we have a factory that we've cited there for granules processing. In Damango, cassava is the food basket of the Savannah Region. and cassava production. We have one district, one factory for cassava there. For rice, like one of the journalists alluded to, in East Gonja, that is where rice production in the whole of the Savannah region, Botanga irrigation projects, all are located in the Savannah region, particularly the eastern part of the Savannah region. So we are telling all investors that, come, talk to the chiefs. Land is for free in Savannah region. There are not going to be any problems if you want to invest. We will personally lead you to have a smooth sailing investment program in Savannah. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. You heard the Minister. I believe I am sold, but we would need all of you here to help us tell the story that Savannah region has so much potential in agriculture, in mining, manufacturing, tourism, and so on and so forth. It was also very refreshing to note that the e-blocks that are completed are in use. The ones that were not completed, the minister mentioned that they've been able to add on and even add additional facilities to turn it into boarding school. And I think that is very important. So that from the minister, if anyone says there is an e-block left in the region to rot, it is not true. A lot of work has been done to make sure our children have very good facilities to study in. So, Minister, we are really grateful for the insight. We hope that we'll be able to do this again, hopefully in the Savannah region, to get a lot of participation from traditional authority and also from the people. Honorable MMDCEs, the RCC staff, our government spokespersons who are here, the press, my brother, Dr. Clifford Brima and Hajia Loratu, thank you all for making time and joining us this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
We are live from the My Bets lane here at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. Today we are interacting with the phone dealers who are also supporters of Accra House of Book. We saw what happened on Sunday at the Accra Sports Stadium when the Phobians were eliminated in the Confederations Cup 3-1 on aggregate by Real Bamako of Mali. A lot happened at the Accra Sports Stadium with Samuel Boedu being welcomed as if Jesus was entering Jerusalem, whilst two board members, Alhaji Akambi and Vincent Odotesoa, were attacked as the Phobians believe were the root causes of their problems in the team. What do you say as a Phobian? Were you at the stadium or you were following the game on radio commentary? I want to hear from you. Digest the Accra House of Hope problem. Should they bring back Samuel Boedu or they should go in for a more competent coach? Speak to me on this episode of the GhanaWeb Sports Debate right here on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Joel Leshen. Follow me and let's get some interesting answers from some of these phone dealers who are Phobians. We also speak to this gentleman. For him, he is a Kotoko fan. We will expect to hear more from him because he also supports Ghana football. Follow me and let's see what happens on this show. Alright, so today we are asking House of Folk fans, you've been eliminated from the CAF Confederations Cup. A lot happened at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday, but today we are asking them, what is the problem in the club? What do they think that if management or the board they do, the club can return to its glory days. So we are asking all Phobian fans today on the streets of Accra. Mamini can found Sunday now Accra Sports Stadium. Edi kind now game no who say
tuni de mamu abaso omo aboduma pa na me de the whole Ghana obi anim the whole circle me obakope ya me na tuni de me has folk fan bet Sunday no park na me koye no alaja kan bi na me koye because the way alaja kan bi e dey vim share supporters mu say team na no ko boy no ba makofo team sa team na no boy wo no o de baga na han ma omo league boy no come to be 5 and 6 it is team when team moment me has focus dey me abam bu say no e say has focus team na we praise ben e bit ma share focus no but because of team no asem alaja kam dey e kai no e don me dey me call park but they have me call park no team ni dey we alaja kam e say o kai no me hunu bisa bakwa na hunu bisa bakwa na team ni dey me no me di to go for the yana na me di no ho yawo adi tampi no ho yawo adi ten years supporters no ye kore say alaja kamilo do te ye nyomu fro just omu fro keke just omu fro ho ne ye supporters ye ho yakoma nto ye yam se bobo ne se lusu krampo ne ye okay omu fro just omu fro keke alaja kamilo do te the way any prayers even prayers kwa sakra omu nim mo pray for me bre has for pray for me bre so the way omu like omu ni prayers e ka sakra na nye okay what I say just omu ni omu ye dey enfo keke ne supporters yakoma to am ye na na say da bi because on a this guy day team the me no me my family had house folk me say toga for there so I come no do 10 ana so na mom omo na ma niska dia team ni dia menim ba senya omo ana sida team no onyo omo fone so for there akoma nto yema na some ono an omo pedia me supporters folk biem enti te say odote ene alaja kan bi ebe free ono board ni so no omo free board ni so me supporters folk biem ana me no me esiri akola pa obi ani me kan asem wo biem okay me kan biem enti o to you know omo me no na ema has dan ko yi se oni press no edin koma enye nsem bia na yeka oni press ndin koma abufu eden e wo mumu because the way papa no omo ni press ba kasa kompro enye chese enye bakura because se wo prayers na se what is to press aba or the way akoko aso akofo ba no una obekoko ba no oda se betu ntimi mfa ope as a contract prayer contract be sokura na opa sa pa akọ enu has folk toka for the bar be so house prayer bible prayer ba ko pedi say toka for the autonomous has folk nyeska to the place some bia no mo tambe so a also nim how wo management papa omni na temani ya infatim mo e ma toka for the no na the way ye PS reference ya mpiri for na mo kuta has folk no muniska o omuniska se toga for the can or sponsor has no money bi but the way prayer no contract be so the way mpiri no mbeka sa no the way kasa de mbeka no prayer no kwa no oniska po be dey o be sign na na ska ba ana ka press e bablo say ndimi de me to from say alaja kam no do te free house folk no me from me support us here go me hu say papa no onu o ska da ana ska na sa no seska sa no o se no say no seska papa no be seska sa da kenon kam alaja kam no do te free o be seska sa because the way any prayer kasa na prayer no be ton no nyeska yes over the seska ya he ye best down he boy yes ka ya he but prayer na be ton e de nyeska na da team no na prayer ya be ton de nyeska da teams na e na penifo nso no eni e ka sa fin ka sa fun kwa che president mo obi asa na president you be say house folk team Yakoba Makoi bo we prayer so na boss abo am share training bonam defender ho na go bonam we na go masa this alaja come no do 10 team ma house folk oba ko farm we no crab house folk any ye cha.
All right, so he has already laid down the problems to him. If Odote, former member of parliament for Ladadi Kotopon, and then Alaji Akambi, if they are not removed from the board, he will suspend his support for Accra Houseville because the condition those two have created in the club, not even Mourinho will succeed as the head coach of Houseville. All right, so we still on the Houseville conversation. The Phobians were eliminated in the CAF Confederations Cup despite being seeded in the competition by Real Bamako of Mali. 3-1 on aggregate was the scoreline. But on Sunday, a lot happened. Samoboedu, former coach, being hailed as if Jesus was entering Jerusalem whilst 2 board members were attacked. Their car tires were destroyed. That is Vincent Odote Soa, former member of Parliament for Ladadi Kotopon, and then Haji Akambi. Me do bem. As a football fan, what's one I share their course now has a problem nankasano. NSA.
Medasi. Has problem there. A fan baby no. Be a supporters.
Okay.
A fan baby no so no. Coaching problem. That's what I say. Like to say has of folk na Sante Koroko. Yenya botre and farmer your coaches. Any management, any board. Or we say Alaja can be Odote, any board members now can.
They've been there for 10 years.
Yes, but Oma Yebi, so what I say, past by 12 years ago, Omonje League, Omonje FA Cup, Omo to me, board members need to be try every day, every to me, every Jema Omo. Emma, no, Omo to me, they want to go to Africa.
But since I first look at say, coach na, Otumi Beji Sanyo Mano, Oma Pamano.
Supporters like us, I mean, no more any to the sense that some of what first a year or J, a friend say, or G League, or Africa. Or quite a question says, Oba say one. Osaka second, we say, you best 4. Over 2 matches, or consider 10 goals. I don't tell supporters on most of Yastic and Casasam. What I say, football, 1, 2, 3, football 1+1. So what I say, so the end not to go for the or born home thing. You say, one of us is a team on any day. So far, on as a folk team, any day, and the property. Yeah, that's when you want more better than you run in the man. But as I make a minimum bad because and almost see social center. Upon the employee Nisika, any if I say, Nibia, our house of folk. We must have said, supporters now. And now I'm going to do 1,000. One was it, who could 50 Ghana, 100 cities, Echo Stadium. Who will say, Umpon was here. It's so be away billions of dollars. Any chance of folk. And more than best 5 years in it. Then I talk about it on top player that. Okonye's can run in front of the running house of folk. And so be born home or didn't say, Eddie Amamu. That's fine. Almost or say, or we are there supporters in the bench there. Then you football fans. But yes, sir, because of who do Akumachi. Never acquire the answer say to Dr. PM and I come on second Mukuna and tell them what Chapachawana. I do Satam now. I want her family. No, what I say, football in the support to be a true baby. Never be an Abinian Saja open. What I say to do, you see Nabutre, I didn't penny for Yadi, Jumedia. I saw woman, sir. Now, can't be to say, Fanny say. Home coach, former coach, you know. Somebody one day assassin will be our assassin. The worst coach in this country, somebody, yes, because Boko Africa first one SL4, second was 6. First time, Morino Munia, first time no, Omutimini Champions League in the other day, at the moment clubs. From one say BC that say former Santicoto coach, by no Munia first time, Obey Omama Digi League. What I say, some of board we are the team amount more than bet said 5 seasons. 2 seasons. 2 seasons.
Or J League.
So OG League will come hard away a champion. But Africa then they see here. That means someone home day. Any other 20 man one resign. Obet my man and call man and call.
Son of 20 has for the man resign.
I don't that means we saw them no do so.
No, some what do I call has in penny for soon to new coach has. Any Masokradu no coach Sante Koroko. Now Osanso Blasters. No Sanso Blasters assistant coach. What I say? I don't know be so member no do so. On what transfer send who that man obet me here. That means some board be so member no here and no do so. Me one coach. What I say wasa what me the out of folk come here send 10 there. Bad record that was set a friend say Ghana Football Association and House of Folk. This is our camp. Team has some tenor. One of everybody day. A House of Folk. Asante Koroko. Into then our person has here now or
Omunya Botre, a man penny for now. You need media or do temu. Omunya Botemo do tell any Alaja can be more. Omuya Juma. Papa them support to him. Or the Juma
Obi Kadram say I say we are quite quantity. Over the Senate has I didn't mean your film. Has to say I didn't mean your friend against when you budget.
Oh, some manager not to go for a can of one. Tinaka Kakra. It's a free abandon in that pass war. Kebet me a tono. And I can just carry I community social center. And I don't know I Ghana Pascal. say see omakwaje he has to pa brother Jacobo one pass you.
All right, so you heard him. Someone will say that because he is a Kotoko fan, he will wish that House of Folk will never be like they were, so that Kotoko can continue to dominate. Don't forget that Asante Kotoko won the Ghana Premier League last season, so he will love that his club will retain the trophy. But what he is telling the Phobians is that give Odote and then Alaja can be the benefits of that, so that they can turn things around, because they brought Bwedu to win those trophies. So definitely they can employ another coach who will also continue to win for House of Folk. What do you think? Let me hear from you in the comment section. Has Sunday camp competitions went to me and qualify and feeling say and I was far has more elimination.
Yeah, no, also Yempeno crew. And Ghana, but Africa, Yempenocre, Mizana Mecano. Luciano, ya san Mameju cry. First, now coming up broken heart, mean to win the D. Those that has Chinan and now so out was a house, a bubble. So has a Lusu match, I mean to win the D that whole day. But the house Lusu crying to me. Men check it. Essentially, that's a fact. I will cook not by a town for. In Shiandia,
and it's Russia has now. Problem and Casanova. And then Casanova, problem. I said, no, for Swan, and be able to not say,
and I know the Penifon and Penfon, the Mecano, because you say, if corn ice may grow bigger, it starts from germination. I'll grab a fire if we are not packed. It's what I'll say is say Penifon our problem. Say be reshuffle, say be fire e binum akofan kofo bi aba say binim say onim de American and ke be boati me pa so ati ase and also be a player obi aba sakatu sa na e ko
nti omo san kofa samobo edu bra
and ke be boa
ha sana
and ke be boa
de me nya house me
nti wo so penifo san en kofa samobo edu
omo nkofa nim la samobo edu obe boati me no omo nkofa nim la
on fans no connection on say play a coach on fans or connection and Mamura but team. I said coach ni bana so ya action fans na Joshua players ni Nyamura e bobono ba o ko fa bro ni a ono ni play I said fans na like fans ma you winning match fans me winning match Mora no ba be winning some bodo best option for her but me has fan there then omo pamo na ko to win that fans na be mumbusa.
So I'm another House of Folk fan here and I'll be interacting with him. What is the problem with House of Folk? Who do you think is the root cause of all the problems in the club? I think on Sunday we saw what happened, the reception Samuel Boadu received at the stadium. So we are interacting with the fans. You can also share yours in the comment section on this episode of the GhanaWeb Sports Debate right here on GhanaWeb TV. Pacho, where are House today? Sunday born, which will be?
Me take comment. Well, me take comment.
To follow here. Until well, what say senior House fans will budget Samuel Boadu, so even after say, moment to me and qualify. Samuel Boadu call no team no. I say I come from west, back to west. Yes. Has no problem and Casano any day.
Say in fact has team near young phobia ya come ahead and edit team netty. And our coach Samuel Boadu quite fast wa. Yes, I can and run a meeting angel. According to no now to say and bro yes say woba has camp pe. One man let us say one year then. Momba into went to me about the man back and so say when too many prayers in ending come up. When to me no man kasa into Oba Park and say Obenya Kwenya na do no wedding come and right interview na no na den of course into coach Sambo Boadu nya ya penasem say kon no kasa na oputati mi na nkan kofo we to me say wa ha wo hwe ball na ya ball na because of coach into prayers na nyi wom yam omo anyi wom yam say won babo ball no ti coach na wom de na ba ne de nya has for de nya ye ni nje ho memempe into won pass coach Sambo Boadu won frɛ no na obetuma baba ka won ne nkasa na problem bia home solve no 100 because all the abeye bi oba by 2 years no matters awajama has no menji ni say coach ya yakofa na betumi aiden aba afi yanhwe prayer kra has akoton de na aba kaba yankwohwe game otumi ball park ne so dem pa na kire say sa prayer no owo bibi de ma has ofo say management and say coach kutetima ya man chance no fa na panya den anya aduma na prayer unhu say odimani so bet ma bobo no ya den ya invite no ama say prayer na ba man fa ya pe say ya kata hye bi say ya house ntino ya ma pani bi ankasa na ya de pa akofo bi share house team no kwanya ya koma edi house team na chi.
Okay, everything no to you no has some problem no there is some obodu ba ni na so betwa
oba sisi ana obetuma ya adwuma no we na okofa ne ambuan yan so omo wo asem bi kan omo ne boadi nkasa omo ne nkasa mfra ne ntenase na problem bi o ha omo ne solve ne ama na 100 team no sanse wa ye bida oba obetuma de has akwadi mu.
All right, so they should try and then convince Samuel Boadu to return to the club because winning 5 trophies in 18 months is something that cannot be underrated. So if Samuel Boadu returns to the club, he believes that going forward, House of Folk can turn their season around if the Ghana Premier League resumes. So to him, Samuel Boadu is the only solution that can help Accra House of Folk. Let me hear from you too in the comment section. Alright, so we are ending this week's episode of the GhanaWeb Sports Debate right here on GhanaWeb TV. We've been interacting with House of Folk fans considering what happened at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday. Samuel Boadu was welcomed as if Jesus was entering Jerusalem, even though House of Folk couldn't qualify. And then on the other hand, 2 board members were attacked. Odote and then Alhaji Akambi were attacked because House of Folk fans claim they are the source of their problems in the team. We are interacting with some House of Folk fans. As for you at the stadium on Sunday, House of Folk fans, no problem ankasa anything.
The problem pa yes Odote any Akambi.
I didn't know my problem.
The entire problem no. Team no muna esi ekutamo. Amuna muye bibia togo eja bibia hyemonsa so ade azie be niam bebre o muye ni team no ye hu sem faso bia ni so adentina has ye bo Africa ai o coach Samuel Boadu ode agi league ade agi FA Cup ade agi Super Cup nyina na ya akaba few minutes am ya bo Africa no apam coach ni we nyina me hu se o madwuma o moye House of Folk no mpeso mu good team no ye so House of Folk supporters yakoma ani ye do team no edina ma Sunday sane ma na ekoso edina me hu ze ne ma na omo ye ne de emwa ye kra omo pa omo fatim ne nto no monko ye de do team no ye be focus House of Folk.
This omo me no kwa ugidi set team no be
oh by all miss team ni be by all miss team ni be because on the oba ye coach Samuel Boadu buy no kra no ye bobo no ye oba stadium no hwe de way si welcome no na just supporters ne pe no. Yes, supporters in the country say in coaching. I didn't know more pump coaching. I play any more way. And don't go about my team. And Baba come here to me team. And the end of pump a year, supporters in our supporters. Yen who say, oh, the coach in a Juma and the morning and Swanny, Mompamno. Now they are anterior, that's all in the action near Coba Africa, was your pump coach. And for so also.
Alright, so the usual names Alhaji Akambi and Vincent Odoto Soa, former member of parliament for Ladadi Kotopo. He believes that if these 2 individuals they are sacked from the club, House of Folk can return to its glory days because Samuel Boadu was winning and then they don't know what happened. He was sacked with few days to their African game against Real Bamako of Mali. What do you also think? Let me hear from you in the comment section. It has been another exciting episode of the GhanaWeb Sports Debate right here on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Joel Leshen, and until we meet again, it's bye for now.
Recognize that the minority members of parliament are all in black today. We are mourning the democracy of the Republic of Ghana, as well as mourning the state of the Ghanaian economy. Our economy is in such a bad shape. If care is not taken, we will crash this economy to a point of no return. And that is why we have decided to mourn the state of the Ghanaian economy and to send a strong signal to government that we will not chicken out. The economy is our livelihood. We will stand firm for the people of Ghana because they deserve it. We think the people of Ghana has done no wrong to deserve this kind of treatment and mismanagement coupled with ineptitude. And so we are acting from now. And so from what the Chief Whip has asked me to do, I am reading the grounds signed by the Chief Whip of the Minority Caucus, indicating the reasons why we in the minority want our minister responsible for finance to step aside. The first one is the fact that we are seeing a despicable conflict of interest, ensuring that he directly benefits from Ghana's economic woes as his companies receive commissions and other unethical contractual advantage, particularly from the Ghana's debt overhang. The second ground has to do with an unconstitutional withdrawals from the Consolidated Fund in blatant contravention with Article 178 of the 1992 Constitution and the Petroleum Management Act, supposedly for the construction of the President's Cathedral. The third point has to do with the illegal payment of oil revenues into offshore accounts in flagrant violation of Article 176 of the 19th Constitution and the PFM Act, as well as the Petroleum Revenue Act, Act 815. The fourth one has to do with deliberate and dishonest misreporting of economic data to Parliament, where he decided to account for expenditure as amortization and certain expenditure as footnote in the financial reporting standard, contrary to global financial reporting standards. The sixth one has to do with the fifth one has to do with the fiscal recklessness, obviously leading to the crash of the Ghanaian cedi, which is currently the worst performing currency in the entire globe. And then number 6 has to do with the alarming incompetence and frightening ineptitude. In fact, if he had acted fast, we could have salvaged this economy. So frightening ineptitude resulting in the collapse of the Ghanaian economy and an excruciating cost of living crisis that we are seeing. And finally, on the last ground, we are saying that we've seen gross mismanagement of the Ghanaian economy, which has occasioned untold and unprecedented hardship to the people of Ghana. Colleagues, we can't do this alone. We need the majority to support us to do this. We need to assist the president to make sure this happens. But I believe that he did not do this alone. The vice president must be made to step aside as the chairman of the economic management team because he has failed woefully. Woefully. He does not qualify to call himself chairman of economic management team. Unfortunately, Parliament do not have the right to censure him on that grounds. If not, we would have gone after him first. I think the governor has a role to play in this matter, and he should also pack his bag tomorrow morning. I'm saying that the finance minister obviously is the head of the management of the economy as long as the finance ministry is concerned. But he reports to the vice president. So the vice president has failed in his supervision. He has failed in the work that he has been mandated to do. So he has no business to sit in that office and call himself chairman of the economic management team. I call on you directly, Mr. Vice President, if you are listening to us, resign as the chairman of the economic management team now to save the Ghanaian cedi and the economy of Ghana. We need that. And then finally on this matter, Mr. President, you have a role to play. Ghanaians elected you as president. When it goes bad on your head. Please and please again, you have to take the blame for what is going on. You cannot run away from this matter. The hardship is serious. The NDC handed over an economy that is better placed, a country in the right place, an economy with proper solid growth projections. If care is not taken, you will crash this economy. I want to say that instead of you thinking of breaking the 8, rather concentrate on making the 8. Because the way things are going, I'm scared that if care is not taken, you cannot even make the 8. Yeah. So concentrate on making the 8 instead of breaking the 8. That is your mandate. Anything else is secondary.
The National Cathedral trustees and secretariat have established a call center. Now, you would wonder why we need a call center. As you're already aware, the project is ongoing, but in order to deepen our relationship as trustees and secretariat with the generality of Ghanaians and to provide adequate information, we've established this call center for that purpose. It's an ultra-modern center which is ready to assist with information that the public needs concerning the National Cathedral project, especially those of you who are willing to contribute towards its completion. The people who are manning the call center are well trained and capable of providing necessary information, especially about the progress of the cathedral and how we can get more information about how to give out money. We want the public to know that there's such a center, and that instead of always trying to find somebody from the secretariat, it will be useful to get the information from the center. You're wondering what the number of the center is? The number of the center is 030 7606. 030 7606. The cathedral is not only iconic in its architectural expression, it's also historic because it's going to be the first of its sort in the country. It also has several aspects: religious, economic, educational, and leisure. The garden, for example, is going to enable us. How many of you are not married? I'm not married, but I'm not available. How many of you are not married? So you can plan to have your wedding there. Or even in the sanctuary, who knows? But it also has a lot of ways in which, as Ghanaians, we can be proud to have an edifice that provides space for religious activities, for national activities, and so on and so forth. So, I'd like you to know that you have become partners with us as we ensure that this magnificent edifice is completed for God and for country.
what's the thing? Because so near you be one every because near Intia Wahani. I had a sumbuye. I had a sumbuye. Na medicanda Pentecost as a form. I say, meaning said, ya hankum, 1 year me, na sana nyamia jumano etine yeja obibia say up yeja obibia say nanado eyi na se so manfu nyina ye di siani ni ye de bo man and yem fat sambo kese emma Pentecost asafo ya wa asore mu asore na nyame hira won a o hira won anunti nyamoro ye de aboa ban ene Ghana man nyame nkoso ye den o hira.
This industrial village is intended to serve as a hub where inmates who have acquired various artisanal skills will be deployed to produce for the market. These inmates will in turn benefit from an earning scheme to generate some income that will facilitate their reintegration into society upon discharge. Mr. President, I wish to reiterate that the Ghana Prison Service is poised to grow enough food to feed inmates and contribute to the food basket of the nation. It is my humble appeal, therefore, that corporate groups and kind-hearted individuals will complement the humane gesture exhibited by the Pentecost Church by coming into partnership with the Ghana Prison Service to mechanize agriculture at these camps. This should surely help facilitate our path to self-sufficiency in food production.
I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the Almighty God for the successful completion of this project. A year after the maiden one at Ejura was handed over to the Ghana Prisons Service. In August 2018, the church launched its Vision 2023 with an overarching theme, possessing the nations. That is, equipping the church to transform every sphere of society with values and principles of the kingdom of God. This vision is hinged on a three-pronged approach, one of which is partnering with government for the socio-economic development of the nation. As a church, we believe that we have not only been called to worship God, but to also serve God's purpose within the society. Mr. President, it is from such a conviction that we are gathered here to commission this prison camp project. Prison overcrowding is one key contributing factor to poor prison conditions around the world. It is also arguably the biggest single problem facing prison systems. Such overcrowding and associated challenges prevents prisons from fulfilling their proper functions. Being aware of this reality, the Church's Vision 2023 agenda took the initiative to partner the Ghana Prison Service to decongest our prisons.
I have been privileged to lead the President's agenda for transformation in all the agencies of the Internal Security at the Ministry of Interior. And one of them has been the Prison Service. I have no doubt that in the authority I was given and the directives that I was given, that the development of internal security is a collective responsibility, and we're looking forward to people complementing government effort. For instance, just an example, at the Insawan prison as I speak, 50 inmates are on tertiary education, distance with the University of Cape Coast. The senior high school facility in Nsawam prison has been recognized and in fact accredited as an examination center. And that's why we find the intervention of the Pentecost Church so welcome.
This is the second day of my working tour of the Eastern region. And I can say with confidence that this ceremony is the highlight of my 3-day working visit to the region. I say so because we're witnessing today a very important example of the collaboration that we seek in this country between government and several stakeholders in our nation, civil society organizations, faith-based organizations, and independent institutions in our nation. The Church of Pentecost, by what it has done here today, has demonstrated exceptional leadership in its desire to maintain and grow a partnership with the state to address the problems of our nation. The second of such facilities that are being commissioned, that have been constructed by the Church of Pentecost, and there are 3 others, as Apostle Eric Nyame, Chair, indicated, in the pipeline. My understanding is that at least 2 of them will be commissioned by the end of this year. Apostle, your leadership of the church has already been commended by the General Secretary. I want to add my voice to that commendation about the sterling work that you're doing in the name of Christ and in the Christian movement in our country. It's exceptional, and we must recognize it.
Of St. Martin Senior High School, I welcome you all for the commissioning of 2 separate 12-unit classroom blocks built by the government as debt fund projects. Work on the construction of these 2 blocks started in August and October 2019 respectively, and in September and December 2020 these 2 facilities were completed and handed over to the school for our use. We are grateful to the government for providing us these 2 facilities for effective teaching and learning, as well as 2 vehicles in the same year, 2020, the Golden Dragon bus and the Toyota Hilux pickup. We are very grateful to the government.
In Soma Dredri, Yakon do se Yeni Ebehu na Mampeni Nene Empire ya boy no abebu nti bonsam kese ma ho. Na medical cancer Reverend Kasano utie Reverend here wabubo no ma su bebre me pesa me kan tu dwa se de waye bi da no okasa obeya yenjina chim na empeni be kaya edan ye si hayi betu wada mo ache yie di ababa koniaba wo Ministry of Education edu baby na di pani bebre abemagu me kachiro mo se MPP aban eye Ghana simpie yewura na nadu danko akufuado ne mre so sa project we ye be yamo nipa nyina de omoni ehu enti media enne de mi hu yenye me wanwa enti Reverend ka shegbe kawa kuma tu yem onokofo ni de oni yen ahye adwuma pa na se enti odi se adwuma ne be kwa wie pa eba nipa nyina de omoni ehu me de be ka se be wie ye no nipa bebre won so mo ha amu nim no ma bia ekoso pomcho ye ba ban mu no me kan me gina simpie so kan se Aztec eye efidijuma emaga na mrantie ne maba wa ejuma momo ye abai bi mreso Aztec eguye na Aztec da baby ina owo ne nan infie dumienu ni a Aztec guye me boma no ba ejina simpie so e ka kire mo se mo ye madum na timi kwa abai mu a meboa ma Aztec asia babiem because sugu ye papa nan so Asi fidi juma de ade adama kuma so Ghana buying under Exim Bank eya ayonkofa soko ena me no kasei ye do over $2 million e dia share stake mu ena ko fidi juma ho e ma stake o ma share eya juma na ye twa wo mu ni sa ni ba bebre so don prayer kwan ayamu kanche president ze ye kwan misramu One betimi atrato o one introto o ena bitwa me nsa bankuma me humi wo fa wo ha mo nsampa ma wo fa oya ade ye road minister na ni nyina ebebemu a momfa nsambo asem na ka so mpesa beka no momfa nsambo emu aduru ye enfa maga na simpie abetie ti asem mbeka kire o free swam Ghana Commercial Bank Eco Parkro ekwan we ye kwan a ahaya che emri bi atwam we de ma Big Edu NDC Western Region Chairman fichire no hwe abogu so sam MPP aban so ya to yabo gata ye ni yie na nso be hu obon say the first ceiling atoso maka kire mo Abai Papa Kufuado ama ye 20 kilometers of asphalt. 20 kilometers of asphalt. Na ye de wo munisa sa 20 kilometers no ye beche nin kakra ama ye mpeso so asuma bia. Enti Commercial Bank ekwakodu inchini Ubon say the first ceiling atoso afa near the asphalt papa bi baba dai e baba to so free former say total former mobile ekwa do hospital and also asphalt e da so free dobro eko insumia 3 kilometers and also asphalt e dai e da so na ofia ahwera say eko da man a 1.5 kilometers ahayedi netie free ahwera say eko da man 1.5 kilometers ekwan wey the last time I yes I kwan wey 1960 abambia bontimi nye Now no me call that man me say MPP abaye betimi aye. Ohene ba ko onno NDC branch chairman. O say don prebi come chia me ntimi hu akwan mu ntimi nye. And now should I sit down my corner ko hwe. Ya sha se aye gates ni nyina. I should have sit down my quiet so ya the asphalt bed e beto so. Afa de atwa wo mu kra and now ko Ghana for na nyina from all the 275 constituencies. Constituency bia ni ho a omo wo 4 astrotef. I'm say mampeni wadaroma. Mampeni ankasa constituency. Mampeni wo 1 astrotef. Mampeni we dey video use uli akakra facha me. In so madreji Ghana fi esoja mankosi zibila A to Z. In so madreji yempe the constituency ayewo 4 astrotef.
The pass and Yaba Nsemu, I was St. Martin's Senior High School. About a more I'm Sabuna Muni. Free Senior High School concept. I did. Yes, I done the Kuma, so I am the Kuma. The Bibia, I bet to me, me to me abon ho ban me maban ebeye we no headmaster senior ma me no teacher eno hia say ebe girls dormitory no ho aduma. That's a firm promise. Get Fund will complete the girls dormitory with a 700 and the refurbishment of a 3-story edifice will also be undertaken by Get Fund. Donyonya for headmaster. Asema the 2 many masom. Yebe word maso. E ma so onya huto.
Consumers. This is obviously stout, this Ghana cocoa in there. In 07 we use ginger, spice. Alcohol because the numbers is also. This is the only facility you have. That's the only facility we offer. Producing how much? What is it? Maximum output. The output in beer in hectoliters. We're talking here per annum 10,000 hectoliters, which is considered a million liters. It's very small for a brewery, but at the end of the day, we're not here to capture market share from the big industrial brewers. For us, it's about creating a value and a product in a different niche market. Basically, so where is that niche? Where's the market? There are beer lovers that have been a little bit starved of choice in recent times. Most people who drink it for the first time, yes, they are sold. They are convinced. They were expecting a beer to taste like this. Whether it's a very citrusy, maybe like this because of the lemongrass, a little bitterness because of the hibiscus and the hoppy nature, or the stout, of course. This one has not been launched yet. That's the last one. Of course, we keep the best for last, as we say. Ghana cocoa and beer must be a winner.
The high demand of traffic on this road, and then the reconstruction of the Promotional road.
It became the old bridge proved to be unsafe due to the nature of this bridge. To improve upon the safety of road users and reduce travel times, thereby increasing vehicular movement. It became prudent and necessary to construct a new bridge. As a result of this, the government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Roads and Highways, under our able sector leader, Honorable Amwaku Atta, signed an agreement with the Fair Sky Company Limited to construct the Promotional bridge. These are the deplorable nature of the road previous. So during construction, these are some of the pictures we have. This is the foundation level of the bridge. This level shows you the substructure of the bridge. And then this was when we were launching the beams for the construction of the deck. So for the final stage, we have a completed road and then a completed bridge.
Because there's a lot of the work at the back.
2020 ɛna yɛde president Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo ɛba Abomosu ɛbɛkyerɛ ne sɛ yɛwura oma yɛdwuma yɛhyɛseɛ na aha ɛna yɛdu akampan dodoɔ na adwuma kakraka sɛ deɛ ɛyɛ entire start to finish within a year or two. Nanso Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo adwuma odima education ministry a mijina ha ma minister sabre adwuma soronko so di na du baabi ɛwɔ Ghana ha ya ebetumi akase Mr. President adwuma yɛde wo ba ha amra na ya hyase no so yɛhwɛ masters bungalow yɛhwɛ administration yɛhwɛ dormitories yɛhwɛ dining hall yɛhwɛ laboratories yɛsɛ STEM SHS school bi eni Ghana ha yɛwɔ laboratories mako 12
na sa obia dufie na anwumre uko todwanim ansa na wo bɛkyia wo ho ato wo mpa so na wɔhyɛ nyame wo de wo ho ahyɛ nyame nsa no wɔmpa yɛma the president of the republic Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo Yenyankopɔn ensia namu a atiwa west ene Ghana nyina onyame yɛma yɛn ene Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo President Akufo-Addo ɛhyɛ yɛ bɔmiɛnsa Satam Osabarima amiyawa otusu mienu okasa wo yenyina anamu na osrenu enema miensa odi school esrenu odi road yakwan ahusem esrenu niana etusu miensa eye the Berry Bridge na edabre muso na ehufa odi srenu then candidate President Akufo-Addo Osheye nyabo etiwa west Osheye bosese onyame ye na dom na otie ni mpaibo na odi oman yi hye ni nsa a obesom Ghana etiwa west ha niema miensa ye dia to nanim se ye pe school ye pe new bridge was not a bridge you eda ehu papa come here no kura ntumi ensa ho ana fe yakwan nyina atiti the shining sana oba se wo ye Ghana adwuma nyina no na nia ye dia shan se da ye koma so oba ye miensa no nyina amaye enna a ye nyina atwahia na nanum ahimfu na atwahia omanfo nyina atwahia na president ati ye ntem enda no before say Yebaha were commissioned the new bridge over River Bremu. Were commissioned road na Odiboye Odishaye Mbono from Kwabin to Abomosu to Asom 41 kilometers of road and then Wapahontoma. The third one from Siya school and the Mohania Obiamo Sam Babemua Unakopo Mao Kwaya to me and Yama Bebrea, a bois, a man and a mouth for some cosso. I miss me can't send me cannot crack. I want down with me a mammy. And my boy, Michelle, Musumai, I am there, but to be a decent. I know they are brewing in our mammy. Bridge, no, I had no fair. The quanos so at the house. And they try to cry. And the school dying can see for fair, the baby siwa. Unyakopon ye danase. Unyakopon and ye danase.
So Tunyama, Saw, Deno, Abame, Nimabai, the Fa, and the HMI, said
I'd like to set this stage just to say that maybe there was something fundamentally wrong, and especially the notion that we were doing well before 2020 needs to be re-examined. And I can go to two sources. The IMF Article 4 started to revise our deficit from 3.5, 5.9, 4.5, 5.9 to 7. And then to 7.2. Similarly, they started revising our debt. The fiscal gap was calculated then at about 3 to 5% if you make adjustments. Then came COVID, and that fiscal gap was also there, about 3 to 6%. We did indicate in the COVID report that the fiscal gap to be about 3%. And if you take all of this, it's far more than 3% of GDP. If that was truly the gap, we know where we are, today. So I'd like us to look at these two things, the adjustments that were made in official IMF reports, and you can take the Article 4, 2021. I say this also to draw attention to the fact that the fund is not ignorant in the negotiations. The fund is not ignorant in the negotiations. And they have been producing these reports with the concurrence of the authorities, as they call them. So I just like to, point out to, this. The highest we have had by way of intervention was HIPIC, which is about 3 billion. No government, is that over the list? No government ever got 1 billion to do a correction from Dr. Buju's time. The highest was, 915, which we did. 2 tranches, of course, came after 2017 to the current administration, right? So if we're talking about these volumes of funds, then we should be examining, some of the, excuse me, some of the assumptions, which we are setting for this discussion. Because being honest is with ourselves is one of the things that we have to do, which was like shocking the nation and telling them, that single spine was taking about 70% of tax revenue, and we needed to bring it down. Or telling the nation, we are not that well. Right, so the causes are twofold. It can be internal, domestic, and it can be external.
That's not the only change we want. Beyond that, it will not amount to so much just changing the finance minister. He must go a step further and reduce the number of ministers and the government size overall, including the staff at the presidency. And beyond that, we must stretch that across state-owned enterprises, right? If you look at the staff strength, that has gone up since 2017. We are creating deputy CEOs and all of that. Look, this is the best time for Ghana to look at Ghana and say what is tolerable, what cannot be allowed. we must adopt a lean government across general government approach, not just the central government, but general government approach to doing business must adopt least cost approach. That is the only way we can come out of this.
A nominee before the committee told us about the shortage of even justices. With the commissioning of new courts and all that, we'll need more judges. There is also evidence that if you go to almost all our municipal district assemblies, we don't have lawyers. If you look at even the regional distribution of lawyers in Ghana. However, admissions to the law school has always been a problem, and we know that the biggest challenge is access and maybe some form of regulation. My question borders on how the General Legal Council addresses those matters. We understand the challenge, but the manner in which the challenge must be addressed must be fair, it must be candid, and it must comply with all the rules under Article 296, for example, in the exercise of discretionary powers. Coming from a background where you've done even articles on fair trial and all that, would you consider the General Legal Council's directives on undertaken by law students who are taking entrance exams with respect to not having a right to demand either remarking, to see their papers, and so on and so forth? Would you consider those directives as a bit arbitrary and a little bit, contrary to, would that amount to wrongful exercise of discretion in your view?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for the question. Now, once you mentioned the law school, perhaps I have to, state a bit of the history of the law school. I'm sure most of us know that the law school was established in 1958. And around that time, as the first advert for interested persons to apply, attracted about 927 persons. They applied. Out of the 927 persons, 98, after they have been subjected to interviews and what have you, 98 gained admission to the law school. And out of the 98, only 9 were called to the bar that year. That was in 1958. Only 9, and I'm perhaps glad to say that one of the 9 taught me at law school. And so it has been a problem from even the very beginning of the establishment of the law school up to today. Because yes, our people, Ghanaians like you and I, have desired to have legal education. But because of lack of space, at least as a lecturer, I can speak to that fact. And since 1958, we have not added to the structures of the law school. And so yes, if we want to address that problem, I think we need to take a critical look at the structures, the classroom facilities which are available. Now, perhaps you'll be very surprised to hear, and once you are a member, perhaps I will not land myself in so much trouble by saying that last year, because the House decided that certain students must be admitted, the law school went and rented an accommodation at Legon, and they were paying about 6,000 Ghana cedis a day, when they don't earn 6,000 Ghana cedis a day. So back to what I was saying, that we need to take a critical look as a nation at the infrastructure which is available to the law school. And once we address that problem, then I believe we will be making a headway. As for the measures which have been introduced by the General Legal Counsel in respect of whether a student has a right to, ask for remarking or what have you, that does not stop any student, in my view, from going to court to seek redress. Thank you.
Her sad story is she has 3 kids. The husband left her. She sold a car, bought the land, and now she doesn't even have a quarter of that land where she will lay her head.
Litigations leading to violent clashes. Land issues in Ghana over the past few years have taken a different turn. In the Greater Accra municipality, it is worse, with multiple sales of land and other forms of litigations. Today, we are in Amomole in the GhanaWeb municipality, where several landowners are on the verge of losing their lands to incidents of multiple land sales. We speak to them today on Say It Loud. My name is George A.C. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. Today we are in the GhanaWeb municipality, Amomole to be precise, and I'm joined by 3 gentlemen who have lost their lands or are on the verge of losing their lands to this issue of multiple land sales. I have joining me Mr.
Edward Nanti.
And then say your name?
Reverend Jonathan Opon.
Your name, sir?
William Adoy.
Welcome to Say It Loud on GhanaWeb TV, and we would like to start off with how we got here in each of your situation. Mr. Edward, please tell us, how did you get into this situation?
Actually, for some time now, I received a call from one of my caretakers. I actually had a poultry farm on this said land that we are disputing on. I had a poultry farm, I had 2 structures, buildings, I had a fish pond. Then I also had 2 containers erected right in front of the land. But the land was purchased by one of my brothers, that is Mr. William Odoi, who is also here. And we've been farming on the land, we've been doing poultry. I had a call from my caretaker that one Mr. Oshipi, Oshipi came with some group of people to pick the land. I confronted him and he was like, they've given the land to somebody. Meanwhile, they are the same people who gave us the land. When I say they are the same people, we bought the land from a chief, but because a chief don't move to lands, to show you where you are, he has his boys on the land. So they are the same people we met and they gave us the place. We actually bought 2 plots, and when we were not weren't available, they actually sold one and called and told us they were going to do a replacement. That hasn't come, and this is the second time they come to take the second land which we are operating on. So I confronted him and they left. I had a call again a few days later, and I came back to meet him, that same Mr. Oshipi, with another person, and I tried to explain to whoever that person was that the place belonged to me. And on the 3rd time, there was a different group who told me they actually heard there's a land for sale there and they've come to check. Then later I realized they called me. I gave my number to them. I made them understand it's for me. They called me back and told me that the one who actually wants to buy the land, from Oshipi, that group, is on the land. So I was happy to go meet him.
Not to cut you off, but because of time, we need to brief about it. So the issue is you bought your land from some people. Who are which jurisdiction are they from?
They are from the Ablikuma
traditional council.
The traditional palace. That is Nilabi Mensah's palace. But unfortunately, Nilabi Mensah is dead now. And after his death, that is when this issue started.
Okay. But do you have documentations on this land?
Yes, we have everything, and it's even under registration. Okay, that's the level we are now. It's even under registration.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what has happened to the land now? Like you said, they have come to
they came to demolish everything we had on the land. So we reported the issue to the police station, and the police hasn't taken any action. Talking of the Amasamai police station.
We'll come to the police bits, but what is happening on the land at this moment?
They are building. They erected a wall, and they come there on Sundays to build. Okay, we've tackled every jurisdiction we have to go to for things to be brought to book, but they are still, as I speak to you now, they are there building.
Okay, then let me speak to Reverend and find out his situation. Reverend, how about you? How did you get here?
Okay, as I said, my name is Reverend Jonathan Opon of the United Pentecostal Church. Amomole is one of the branch churches of the United Pentecostal Church in Ghana here, and I happen to be the branch pastor. Around April, we were there and we realized, I had a call that some people have broke through our wall and they've entered in and they are walking around. So what happened was I had to call one of my deacons to find out what was going on. So he went there, and happened that truly what I heard was true. They've broken the wall and they have come to pick, that is, one plot out of the whole land, and they've started erecting wall. So we sent the matter to Pokwasi police station, and we had the soldiers coming in to stop them. After which then we realized that they are still what we call constructing. Recently we realized they have now building what we call security post. When they came, we had a structure on the land. They have cleared out the structure and also broke through. But I also believe, Ranton, that according to Ghana law, if somebody be on the land for at least 12 years, you have no right to come and just break through and come and take possession. So I am appealing to authorities to help us in that direction to get us back our land.
Okay. Talking about appealing to authorities, we know this is Amomole and there's a chief here. We will speak to you about how far you've gotten to in getting your issues addressed. But let me speak to Mr. Willie as well. Mr. Willie, how has this whole issue of multiple land sales and land grabbing essentially, how has it affected you?
Like he complained, I'm going through the same thing. As we speak, they are on my land. Now as we sit, they are on my land. A land I purchased way back in, I think, 2002. Way back, and occupied till now. Somebody has come, cleared everything on the land, and is developing. I wonder, this is our country, Ghana. What is going on? It's been reported to the police. The police are in the know. They have done nothing. And I just wonder how our country is going. What is going on? Somebody just wakes up and breaks into somebody's, like he complained, a church. They go there, they break the wall. And I wonder what is happening to our country. Come on. Let's wake up. We are Ghanaians. Let's just wake up. I am suffering the same thing. My land is being developed by somebody who doesn't have documentation. He hasn't presented anything. He thinks that, yes, this land he must sell. So he sold to somebody and it needs to be developed. And he's developing. I wonder. I mean, well, then if this goes on, then I need to take somebody's land and also develop it. That is what is. We are getting into the animal kingdom. That is what we are getting to now. It's a country with constitution. Come on, let's wake up. And you see, there are people sitting down and watching this go on because it is not them. So yes, it is fine. They should move on.
Okay. You talk about the fact that there's a constitution and there's a law. So we'll speak about how you've tried to get these issues resolved. And Pastor, how about for you, how have you tried to get this issue resolved using the law?
Okay, as a matter of fact, when the matter happened, we came to see the chief, Ni Komi, and he's working around the clock to help the situation.
But for now, are you able to go to the land? Mr. Uli, I'll ask you, are you able to access the land? Because, I mean, we've come and you are talking about land. Ordinarily, we would have to go and see the land. But are you able to go to the land?
No. The authority that has taken over the land, that authority is ruling the land. That is the only problem. I have a land, I have my documentation, and I can't go to the land.
So right now, as we sit here, if you get up right now and you say you are going to the land, what do you expect to happen?
We can go there so the cameras can record. You can see what happens there. I have reported to the central. I have gone to the headquarters. I have reported to Amasaman, to Pokwase, and then the police station. Where's the place? Yes, the police station there. There's a police station almost close to the land. I have reported there. I have done all that is needed to do when you talk about authority. Nobody seems to be able to do nothing. Somebody has woken up. He calls himself Oshipi. I wonder which Oshipi it is, and I wonder which chief is carrying that Oshipi as his lord. I wonder. He wakes up and has authority to take somebody's land and sell. And they are chiefs in Ghana.
Okay, that's Mr. Willie. But Zanti, for you getting this issue resolved, or even before we come to that, how much is this costing you in terms of finance, in terms of drain on your stress and all that? How much is this costing you?
I wouldn't quote anything less than 800,000 cedis. Yeah, because comparing what we did then, the amount we used then to today, it will even be over that. When you wake up in the morning, you are just so traumatized to the extent that you can't find your way around anything you're doing. You get it? You have to go to the police station. You have to be thinking of who to speak to, who is going to listen to you, who is going to move with you. And it's all finance. I'll be honest, what I'm saying. It's just weighing me down. That's the honest truth. It's just weighing me down.
Let me ask Reverend, for you as a man of God, you preach peace, and obviously this kind of things goes way contrary to the peace that you preach. Looking at how the issue of land sales and land dispute is growing in this country, what do you envisage is going to happen in the future if as a country we are not able to deal with this matter?
As a country, if we don't deal with this matter properly, then very soon we are going to end up into the animal kingdom where anybody that has strength can just pounce on anybody. Then obviously there's going to be war. Why? Now, if I come for your land and you also think you have a way to come for somebody's land, then it begins to move that way. Then there's not going to be peace among us. And when there is no peace, there can be development. Then obviously the country is shifting into another third world war. And obviously this will not be a very good place for us to live. And that is why when it happened, I told my members they should hold on. Let's take it through the appropriate channel. We could have done same by going to break it down, but then I believe in peace, and that is why today we've waited to this time for you coming in to hear us.
I asked Mr. Edward about how it is affecting him in terms of finances and all that. How is this issue affecting you and your church?
Same. As a matter of fact, people believe church has money, but it's not all church. We have money though, but then if money is to be raised envisaging, we are doing project and thing, and later on, for something to happen, and now you are channeling your money in fighting something you already have. Obviously, it looks like you are going back. You cannot make progress in ministry. So this is affecting the church, myself, and the organization as a whole.
So Willie, you are at a point where you feel like your land is almost lost. How far are you willing to go to get back your land?
I wish I could answer this. I have already explored every available service, because I have gone to every other police station, reported. I have done it all, accused everybody, visited every chief's palace, done every of the press conferences, done, and one OCP has that authority. I just wonder, expenses, I don't even want to go there. Will you spend as much as everything, and still OCP is standing on the land? He is authority. He doesn't respect anything. He doesn't see anybody. Please, this is our country. I would just plead with everybody else. If we say we have a law, let it work. Let the law just work. Let's all respect ourselves and do the right thing. Because if we don't do that, today it is me. You don't know about you tomorrow. Because if you also talk about this and it doesn't work, then it means that somebody can do it to you. And we should just then be ready. Because somebody is also watching and will do the same thing to the next person. Me, if somebody does it to me and nothing is done, I am ready. I would also do it to somebody. I will do it to somebody. Yes.
We are wrapping up. So, if you are to say your last words, what would be your last words?
Okay, honestly, I'll begin this way as I sit now. That's what is running into my mind, to also organize myself, get some group of people who knows the story, I mean some macho men, and also come to the land and battle up with them. Okay, that is what is running through my mind now, because the pain is too much. I don't even sleep. Talking to my people, I'll just call on the government. I mean the security administration. Make them understand that this is what is happening in Amomole, Canada Junction, and I'm not the only person. A lot of people in the area knows me to be a broadcast journalist, and when this issue started, I've had more than 20 people walking to my house to tell me, so what am I doing about it? Am I not organizing a press conference? Am I not saying anything about it? You get it?
All these 20 people you are talking about have also suffered this.
Yes. Somebody, I can testify of a woman. More than that woman. It's about 25 people. But with this woman, her sad stories, she has 3 kids. The husband left her. She sold a car, bought the land, and now she doesn't even have a quarter of that land where she will lay her head. I have their contacts. There's another sad story of another lady whose husband sent money. They bought 2 plots, built on one and using one for farming just in front of the house. They came and walled it. You understand? And I can go on and on. There is this man who bought it around 2009 that way. Filled his land, it was a valley, filled it, bought 2,000 blocks on the land, fenced it, and now it's been broken into and they are developing. And he has also gone to the police station just as we've done. You see? So they resorted to coming to see me so we could organize a press conference against these people. We've gone wherever we have to go. So it's more like somebody just taking you for a ride. Okay? Some of us are also coming from places. But just that, because we respect the law, we are mute. But as I speak to you now, that is what is running through my mind.
So the issue of land grabbing, multiple land sales is happening, and here in Amomole, in the Ghana municipality, this is the situation for a lot of landowners here who are almost about losing their lands. They allege that this is being undertaken by some people from the Ablekuma Traditional Council. But then we are going to try to find out from the custodian of the land here, the chief of Amomole, Nikome himself, why this is happening under his watch. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back from the break. The show is still Say Loud on GhanaWeb TV with me, George AEC. I am currently in the palace of Amomole, the Amomole chief, Nikome II, and I speak to him about the concerns raised by some of these landowners and residents of his jurisdiction. Ni, welcome.
Thank you, my lord.
I would first of all begin with a very sensitive question. Do you do double land sales as the chief of Amomole?
Not at all, and I really don't like doing such things. Yes.
Has the situation of some people in your jurisdiction being pushed away or being evicted from their lands come to your attention?
Yes, that is the problem at stake now. Land being acquired by dwellers way back since in the 19-something order has now been reselling by some group of people claiming they come from Ablekuma. But meanwhile, this place is called Amomole. And as Ghana people, we know where our clans are from. So I knew that I come from an Asne, and where I am is an Asne land. So I'm wondering why the Ablekuma people who are not part of the Asnes but are Sempe people will come to Amomole Ayawaso to come and claim land that it belongs to them. Meanwhile, they knew that the land does not fall in their jurisdiction at all. So this has brought so many disturbances within the area, and we as a people, we cannot take the law into our hands. So we took some of these people to court, and the court is yet to determine or adjudicate upon the case. But we filed an injunction so that there will be peace in the neighborhood. After the case is done, then whoever wins the verdict will go for his land. But these people are going around, entering into people's house, churches, and industries to retake their land, especially the churches. You know, they don't work on weekdays. So when the people see that a certain church is here, there's a portion of land lying by the church, and Mondays the church people doesn't come to church, then they enter and then they start working on it. You report this to the police and everywhere, but nothing will be done about it. And as I knew that matters are in the court, I must wait for the verdict of the court. But as I'm saying, what they are doing is very, very risky, because somebody who doesn't have the heart to wait till the verdict of the court and you have entered into his house, he might end up bringing violence and killing people and all that. And we knew that these people, they know the land doesn't belong to them, so they have prepared themselves with their arms and all that. In the night, they will start shooting all over this town and then be working on a certain lands, so that will deter anybody from coming to question them about whatever they are doing.
You are a traditional leader. You are part of the Greater Accra Traditional Council. for years now, if I'm not wrong, the Greater Accra municipality or region has become notoriously known for these issues of double land sales and all that. How did we get here?
In fact, the poverty in Africa is affecting our brains and our everything. That because of somebody's deliberate, something that is not lawful, is not right, he will go and do it. Because as I'm saying, they sell the lands to other people, and those other people, they too, they have eyes to see that somebody's house is lying on the land, but yet still they still buy. You go there and stop them with the police, they will show them every document that where you are working is for somebody, but still the person will continue to work. So I don't only blame the chiefs, but I blame the buyers too, because you have to make your feasibility search on the land before you acquire it. If not, after somebody confronts you on your land, you must be careful to find out what is the matter. But people in their mind, oh, I have to be strong, I have to be strong. Oh, then they are doing it. If I ask my people to go and stop them right now, they might end up killing somebody, and that they will mention my town's name and my name. So with that, I plead with the state authorities, with the stakeholders, with our police and national securities to intervene into these matters. Always when something is going on in Ghana, people want disaster to happen before they take it serious. We've been writing petitions and petitions to the police, to the higher police headquarters, to everywhere, but nothing has been done about this very issue, and we can't take the law into our hands. But we know that Ghana law works unless they don't want to. Either than that, the landguards are not stronger than the police. The landguards are not equipped than the police. But you go to the police and later you see nothing going on. So we are worried. In fact, we are worried. Me as a chief, moving from my house to town, I have to be careful because there are some people around aiming to kill me, thinking that after I die, they can be able to take the land because I have taken them to court. And all this, we don't have to wait till something happen before we intervene. So I am pleading to the leaders of this country to do something about this our issue.
So for me, Komi the second of Omomole, he awaits the verdict which comes in 2 days and hopes that that will bring an end to the continuous issue of double land sales that some residents in his jurisdiction are suffering. But then all across the capital of the country and some parts of the country, this is a very an issue that has become very rampant, and it is hoped that authorities will step in and make sure that the right things and the right laws are applied. This has been another episode of Say Loud on GhanaWeb TV with me, George AC, and until we meet for our next episode, it's bye for now.
Okay, so currently my net is just around 2,000 Ghana cedis after deductions. In January, that 2,000 could do a lot. I was actually able to save quite an amount when I was taking 2,000. But currently, the 2,000 is woefully inadequate. I can't save. I don't even know what I do with the money, and then at the end of the day, the money gets spent. So 50 cedis worth of fuel was able to take me for about 2 weeks. by just commuting to school and back home. But currently, the 50 cedis worth of fuel, it barely carries me through a week. It barely. Sometimes I have to top up. So that's with regards to fuel and transportation.
Now you are buying maybe a bag of rice. Let's take lily. You are buying lily now to be 50 cedis. Usually you were buying it around 280, 300, but now it's 350, and it has added up. When you take water, it is going up. Electricity is going up. Now we're paying, when we're using the postpaid, for example, we're paying about 150, 200 a month. But now I have to buy prepaid about 300 because of other gadgets we are using.
In terms of transportation, in fact, now even transportation is even taking 1/3 of our salary, and in fact, it's not easy. It's not easy.
So, how are you managing the same salary in January in October when prices of goods and services have multiplied?
It's quite challenging, like you rightly said. Right from January, you see, as human as you have to draw your budget for the year. And in fact, from January up to this month, it's not easy. You have to double up your expenses, which at the end of the day, you still earn the same salary within the same year. So it's not easy. Realize, yes, so the expenses is almost, it's even more than what you are earning. So it's not easy. You are just adjusting things. And all right, it's quite unfortunate. You see, my landlord even promised me that in fact this year, by December, he is going to adjust the rent. It's not easy.
What did you do so differently? It seems like this was a victory for you and then the party. I know that will be a general one about the party, but generally, how did you come about this victory as it is?
Well, you know, in the 2020 elections, the people of Abukumasa spoke eloquently, giving Okovandapo a 61% victory. And so when the people speak and you are a member of the executive and you don't listen, they will show you the exit. That is simple and short. So we have members of the executive who of late have not been working with the MPs. So the delegates and the people of the grassroots made a decision. And the decision is that they love their MP and they want their MP to continue to work for them. And they want a team that will work with the MP. And that is what has happened. So it's a victory for NDC. It's a victory for even those who lost, to say that we welcome them. We are all NDC with open arms, and we should work together and to ensure a victory for the NDC in 2024.
You're not the first person trumpeting the call for unity. I mean, I've spoken to a number of your executives who are trumpeting the same call for unity. How are you going to do that? And that's based on the fact that there are many people who think that the NDC isn't even ready for power in 2024. People describe you as just a hungry opposition. What would you say about all of that?
Well, you know, the NDC is ready. Looking at the record so far exhibited by the MPP, Ghanaians have realized that they want NDC back. Comparatively, the NDC stands a better chance to govern this country. So NDC is ready, and we are ready to take this country to higher heights. John Dramani Mahama, our flag bearer to be for the 2024 elections, is ready. He has the record. You understand? And we will all put our hands together to work. Ablekuma South is ready with the newly elected executives. we will have the unity with which they went into this election. We will work with that unity to continue to bring everybody together so that we can charter a new course that will give us more gains as we go into the 2024 election.
Finally, is this election a foretaste of what we will see in 2024?
This election is only not a foretaste, but a mandate that will go out to anybody who wants to stand in the way of the NDC. We are ready.
I'm very happy I came, and I came to support Abiana, and she's been marvelous.
And she dedicated Ghana's most beautiful to you.
I know, right? That was a shocker. You know? She didn't expect me to come because I've not been well for a while now, so she didn't expect me, so I guess she was very excited to see me.
I guess it wasn't just we're all excited to see you. But then how is life? How is everything going?
Well, one day at a time. We know things are tough, but hey, we take it one day at a time.
And motherhood?
Another level, you know, it's crazy. Today is the first time in many years that I've had time to come out on my own, you know, to really have fun. Not that I'm intending it, but to have fun. And I'm excited, you know.
Right.
Yes.
And these days, we see you post a lot about your little girl, which is so adorable.
Yes.
And you guys did a trip to the UK.
Yes.
But then also,
the US. Yes.
Oh, and then the US.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Also, we are so happy you were able to survive the accident.
Yeah.
Well, God has been good.
Yeah, God has been good. God has been good. Yes. We are so grateful.
How did that make you feel, you know, being able to sail through this obstacle, even when for an hour and over people, you know, were staying just to wait?
I guess maybe I underestimated my fan group. Yes, I underestimated them. They came, they stayed, and they are still there. Maybe they are waiting for me to come back on stage, but I underestimated them, and I'm so grateful for them.
Are we going to see something like this very soon again?
Yes, I'll replicate this concert like 3 times before the year ends. So if you're watching me, just follow Abiana Music and you get all the info on my page where I'll be the next concert. Follow me and let's have the vibe and get out there.